Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Aso Tarot, and in today's Pick a Pyramid reading, we're doing something a bit different, so let me explain. As you can see by the title, it says messages from the heavens. I'm not channeling your passed on loved ones, so if that's what you thought, no. I'm actually doing something different, and I decided to use the term heavens as like a collective term, because essentially what we are doing today is I have 4 different pyramids here, obviously, and each pyramid represents a different collective. Now, I'm not going to say what collective they represent because I want it to be a surprise for you, and I want you to pick based upon what pyramid you feel most drawn to and not what collective you want to hear from. But if you feel drawn to all 4 piles, or pyramids, I guess, feel free to watch all 4. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Essentially, all that the pyramid will represent is just the collective that we are getting messages from for that specific pile. So we should also address the fact that one is bigger than the others. That's entirely my fault, and that's just because I wasn't paying attention when I bought them, and then I realized, oh, I guess one of these is bigger than the other, and that is going to displease a lot of people. But if you feel drawn to it, that's absolutely okay. But I would pick the piles or pyramids that you feel most drawn to based upon what's inside of the pyramid and not the actual size of it, because most people's eyes will be directly drawn to the one that is very obviously different from the others. And yeah, I'm sorry for that. But we have 4 different pyramids. I'm going to show you them up close now. So for pyramid number 1, we have this cool like purpley gold orange design and this really cool labradorite stone in the middle. For pile 2, obviously we have the thicker one of the group, and she's got some pretty amethyst in her and a lot of silvers and purples and a lot of just pretty icy cool colors. And then for the 3rd pyramid, we have this cool little opalite stone in there and lots of pinks and purples and greens. It's hard to choose my favorite, but this one might be my favorite. And then we have pile 4 with another little amethyst inside and also gold and silver and blue. I don't know what you'd call the swirly stuff, like, I don't know, sparkly jazz stuff. I don't know. That's what I'm going to call it. But you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section below where I will have all the timestamps listed for each pyramid. Like I said, it's absolutely okay to pick more than one pyramid, whatever you feel most drawn to. Just do what works for you. And then once you have picked your pyramid, you can go ahead and, I literally just said that, scroll down to the description, find your timestamps, and then we will get into your reading. Short-term memory. Dangers of having ADHD. Buy the wrong size things and you say the same things over and over because poor short-term memory. Okay, well, pick your pile. I'll see you then, and hopefully I will be a lot more fluid with the things I'm going to say. Hi there, pile 1. If you guys chose this first pyramid, this is going to be your reading. So the collective that we are channeling for you guys, pile 1, is actually your higher self. So this pyramid represents your higher self's energy, and I've already set the intention that we are only channeling the energy of your higher self. So for everyone who picks this pile, it will be the collective of your higher selves. So I'm actually shuffling everything on camera today, which will be fun. But I really would just want to try like new and different things. And there will be different cards for every single pile. So I'm just going to show you guys the cards that I used at the end. So after the reading, if you want to know what a certain deck is, I will let you know at the end of the reading, and I will be doing that for all of the readings. So, and anything that comes out in reverse, I will not be taking. So we're going to start with this deck, and I just want to see. So the higher selves of pyramid 1, pile 1, what message do you have at this time, please? Okay. All right, we have grounding and nourish underneath that. I'm going to take it because it feels like it needs to go there. Okay, I guess I grabbed this one first, so we'll see that. So what I can tell right away is that you may be having trouble being in tune with your higher self right now, and that's partially because you're ungrounded, and that's partially because you're maybe not taking the best care of your basic needs. It seems like either a lot of people in this pile are just really tired, or there's just basic physical needs that need to be met that you're not meeting as of right now. Let's see what else. Okay, haha, life purpose. That's the throat chakra, and dreams coming out on the back of the deck. And then finally, let's look and see here what wants to come through. So the throat chakra and the third eye chakra came through. So one thing that I can see right away is that your higher self is trying to give you important messages about your life purpose, and is trying to give you guidance about steps to take and the right, literally steps to take, the steps to take in order to go through the doors that you want to go through. And I'm just realizing I need to change cards. I was going to use these chakra love cards for you guys, but after I said doors, I realized I done messed up. We're gonna put that with a different pile because y'all need the little divine doors. That's just what Spirit said to me, so. Gonna switch that up before I forget. But from what it seems like, your higher self may be coming through in your dreams, or you may be having dreams related to things in your past, or just things related to your soul that might be kind of like extra stressful, and they might be things that need to be resolved, that your higher self may be like coming forward to let you know about. You may also have the higher selves of other people coming into your dreams to give you information as well. But what can you say about pile one's energy? What do they need to know about, please? Pile one need to know about in terms of their energy. Okay, we have magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. And on the back of the deck, we have the solar plexus chakra and whatever the hell that stuff is. Oh, it seems like, I don't know, that must have been a printing error because it's not letting me even take it off. I was like, how did that happen? But okay, let's talk about this. So from what I can see here, the biggest thing that you are going through right now is there's a lack of cohesiveness between like your higher self and your physical self, and there seems to be a gap in your ability to understand what your higher self is trying to tell you. Because from what I can see here, either you're on the right path to learning what your life purpose is. Now, when it comes to life purpose, our life purpose changes over time, and it's not just this one all-encompassing thing. We can have many purposes here, but there may be a purpose of yours that you're getting ready to pursue, or that you've been feeling called to start pursuing. And I think that is coming through here. Your higher self is coming through to give you the sign that yes, this is something that you should be going after. Yes, this is part of your divine purpose. But the problem is that you're too cerebral right now. So like as soon as I started this reading, my head started hurting really, really badly. And so that would indicate to me that your thoughts are racing when it comes to this goal that you're pursuing. And for some of you, it's not even a goal that you're pursuing. It's just that you're following your life path, and it might just be difficult for you to feel confident in the steps that you're taking because you don't have that confirmation from your higher self, or that confirmation from spirit in general, that what you're doing is the right thing to be doing. And I think one thing that you need to hear right away is you need to learn how to trust yourself. You need to start trusting yourself because you know yourself and your life better than anybody. And in fact, I think that if you're having dreams related to this purpose, like you being further along in this process, or dreaming about things that, because these don't have to be like nighttime dreams, they could be daydreams. Pay attention to your daydreams just as much as your nighttime dreams, because I think that I think that your higher self is probably communicating to you through your daydreams and your fantasies, because that's kind of an expression of like what your soul wants, what your soul hopes for. And I think that part of your problem is that you don't have hope right now. And that's lame. I'm not calling you lame, but it's lame not to have hope. And I get why people don't have hope, because you know, when you get your hopes up about things, it can often be very disappointing when they don't turn out the way we want it to. But I feel like your higher self is really saying that you're just writing yourself off, and it's kind of ridiculous from your higher self standpoint. And I guess I should say, if you don't know what your higher self is, it's basically like the 5D version of yourself, like the spiritual version of yourself that knows your life plan, knows your soul path, is way more knowing than you are on the physical plane. And it's an extension of you. It's not something separate and outside of you, but it's not always something that you're able to tap into. For example, some of the spiritual work that I do is like clearing people's energies, and I have to have the permission of that person's higher self before I even do that. So like as a medium, if I'm channeling, if I'm going to look at somebody's energy, I have to go through their higher self first to know that it's even okay. Your higher self is there to protect you, and it's also there to guide you the same way your spirit guides would and do. But the difference is that it's the thing that's most similar to you, I guess, that it is the closest to your own energy. And I think part of your problem is that your mind is racing so much right now, or maybe just all the time, that your higher self is not able to get messages through. So one of the biggest things that you should be looking at is grounding. And grounding can be accomplished in many different ways. You can ground yourself by journaling. You can ground yourself by literally going outside and like taking a walk and clearing your mind. You can ground yourself by meditating. You can ground yourself by exercising. You can ground yourself by like eating like good food, especially like roots and stuff like carrots and things like that, like fruits and vegetables, things that literally grow from the ground, I think would be helpful for you as well. But I want to talk about this magic card. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment and move towards possibilities and expressions that are grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. So one thing that you need to change with peace and love is the way you view magic and the way you view manifestation, because the way the media portrays magic, it makes it look like it's never something that could be real. Because obviously with like CGI and things like that, you know, Disney or the people that made Harry Potter, did Harry Potter make Disney? I don't know. But I mean, like anything portraying magic in like the movies, for example, is obviously going to be ostentatious and not real because it's a movie. It's not real life. But magic is real. The problem is that magic is way more subtle and way more elusive than we would think. I think the reason why magic isn't normalized, the reason why people don't believe in magic is because it's not normalized. And I think if we understood like magic and manifestation is like almost like this subtle wind that comes from the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, that helps things fall into place. And I think that you have a lack of faith in yourself and a lack of faith in your spiritual team, and a lack of faith that your guides are actually going to get you where you need to go and that things are going to fall into place. And part of the reason why you feel that way is because you're not taking care of your basic needs. If you're in survival mode all the time, that's all your brain's going to be able to focus on. I would Google Maslow's hierarchy of needs, MaslowHEIR ARCHY. I could have spelled that wrong, but if you type in Maslow, you should be able to find it. It's it's a pyramid. It's a thing. Yeah. Okay. Love how on brand we're being today. But you're massively selling yourself short. And what your higher self is saying is that you need to be doing a lot of work with your solar plexus chakra. And it says here, the frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as knowing who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. So you might be in this process of self-discovery right now, and you might be stressed that you don't know where you're supposed to end up or where you're supposed to be going. But I think the biggest thing that your higher self wants you to know is that you don't have to be planning your next steps so intently. It's like you're so afraid of letting go of control that you're kind of not letting the universe like do its work, do its thing. And so because of that, you're kind of perpetuating this cycle where you have hope, but then you don't really do anything to change. And so then that hope turns into, well, I knew things wouldn't be different. Or you are impatient and you tell yourself, like, if it doesn't happen by XYZ time, then it's not real or something like that. And you just set yourself up for disappointment. Because the truth of the matter is, the universe does not work on your clock. In fact, it doesn't give a single shit about your clock. It doesn't give a fuck about your calendar. It doesn't matter. It's all about your energy. And the way that the universe brings things to you is literally based on your energy. Are you ready to receive it? Things of that nature. And so one thing I think you need to realize is that while you've come a long way, you sincerely doubt how much your own thoughts, beliefs, and actions slow your manifestations down, because you have those moments, those times where you beat yourself up, where you stop believing in these things, which is okay. You're allowed to do whatever you want, but you might have frustration with the universe where you're like, why isn't this happening the way I want it to? Well, first of all, if you have expectations of it happening a certain way, that alone is going to set you up to be disappointed, because oftentimes the universe pulls through in ways that are even better than we could have imagined. And so I think that you are very afraid of either going after this thing that you're already aware of in general that could be related to your life purpose. This could be a career thing, something like that. But then there's another group of you who are not necessarily sure or know what their purpose is, where they're heading in life, what this is all meant to be. And for that group, you just need to be. You don't need to do, you just need to be and to follow what feels right. And then these answers are going to come to you naturally. But for those of you where you kind of have an idea of what your purpose is, you're heading towards it, maybe you're already living your purpose and you're just kind of struggling right now. What you need to know is that the universe is not leading you astray. You're not being led somewhere as like a sick joke to the universe, like, oh, haha, we said your life purpose was this, but it's actually that. Like, no, that's not how it works. The universe is not nefarious. I think if anything, the universe is more like neutral than anything, but there are a lot of beneficial, loving energies that want to guide and support us. And so as a result, I think that depending on kind of what energy we attract and emulate, that kind of is what the universe spits back out at us. That's a super simplified way of explaining it. Sorry, I needed water. Speaking of nourishing, make sure you're drinking enough water. That alone will make it difficult for you to channel spirit, because the best way to, like, you know, spiritual psychic energy is water energy. You're made up of a lot of water. You want to make sure you're drinking enough water. Pretty important. But yeah, essentially what your higher self wants you to know is that you're doing great. The worst thing that you're doing is doubting yourself and beating yourself up for when you're less connected to your higher self, for when you're less aware of like kind of what's going on in your life, and you're not, and you feel lost. I think part of the problem, part of why you feel lost, is just because you don't do a very good job at protecting your energy. And I'm actually, okay, Google. So Charlotte from Happy Twins 1111 has this awesome grounding and protecting guided meditation. It's like 12 minutes or something like that. If you've never done it before, I would recommend that you check that out. I will leave a link to it if I remember. But it's easy to find. It says it's for twins, but you don't have to be a twin or anything like that. I think everybody could benefit from that sort of meditation, because it's literally all about grounding your energy and protecting your energy. Because I think what you don't realize is that you are more susceptible to negative energies than you realize, and you're more susceptible to these negative energies when you're not grounded. So the best way I can explain it is like, this is kind of how Spirit's showing it to me. So the way I picked up on your energy is primarily cerebral right now, right? So if you pictured like a human, all of the energy would kind of be I'll use the duck. Hang on. Okay. I've got this duck. I don't have a human, but I have a duck, so we'll just use him as a visual example. Okay, so we have Christmas duck. And so if the Christmas duck was grounded, right, you know, Christmas duck would be like, you know, I'm here, my purpose is to be a Christmas duck, you know, I'm proud of myself for being a Christmas duck. I know that's my purpose. I trust in the universe. I move forward and I have faith, even if I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm going to trust myself, right? So that would be if the duck was grounded and the duck, you know, was doing a good job at protecting their energy. When the duck is ungrounded, all of that energy that needs to be anchored into the earth is instead just kind of swirling around the duck's head. And your brain is picking up on all of that. So not only are you dealing with maybe mental health issues, but now you've got all this energy. I'm not saying that all of you are dealing with mental health issues, but it's a lot harder to deal with your mental health when you're already ungrounded. So if you do deal with mental health issues, grounding is going to be so incredibly important for you. In fact, if you struggle with mental health issues, grounding is not a suggestion, it should be a requirement for you. Like, that should be a priority for you. And I'm so serious, like I'm as serious as a heart attack with this. Like, you need to ground yourself because it is already hard enough to exist in the world when you're dealing with mental illness. Grounding is so huge when it comes to protecting yourself and things like that. So just know, like, if you have not looked into grounding, what is going to work for people is different. I've given suggestions, but it might be a trial and error process. But what I'm telling you is that grounding is so important because with all of that energy swirling around just in your head, it is really overwhelming and it can cause you to pick up on things that you maybe don't even realize. You can pick up on other people's fears. You can pick up on energies of worry that would easily be transmuted if you just anchored yourself into the ground and felt the love of Mother Earth, because the earth does love us very, very much, the same way our guides do. And part of grounding and protecting and clearing your energy is not only connecting to this white light of spirit, but for me, like, I visualize roots coming out of my feet and kind of going deep into the earth's crust. And then with those roots, you know, roots are used to like drink and shit, and they got other things as well. I'm not a tree expert, but I always visualize picking up like grounding light from the universe. I always visualize it as red because it's similar to the root chakra, and I visualize myself literally being anchored into the earth, and that red light is Mother Earth, like Mother Earth's love, that earthly grounding energy that reminds me that I am a soul in a human body having a human experience. And it's really just an opportunity for you to feel more safe on planet Earth. Because obviously that's a hard thing to do. But just in that moment to feel connected to the earth, to recognize that it's supporting you, it's supporting your life and nourishing you. And then also feel the light coming in from spirit as well. That combination not only grounds and clears your energy, but it protects you as well. So I'm going to link that meditation because it literally goes through the entire process of what that is, of what that looks like. But the way I see you right now, like if I just saw like the visual of a person instead of a duck, you just got a whole lot of energy swirling around your brain. And I think that might be manifesting as stress dreams. Where you might be having a lot of nightmares for some of you, or maybe you're just struggling to dream in general. And then also, I think that you're having a hard time being honest with the people around you. And that kind of is like a solar plexus and throat issue. That's like a combined issue, because not only are you not feeling confident enough to say things, but you could have a blocked solar plexus and a blocked throat chakra right now because you might be struggling to speak your truth. And so really what your higher self is saying is, I want to communicate with you more, but I can't do that until at the very least your energy is grounded and protected. I mean, even when you wake up and you look at your phone, you already start, you're already getting information. You're already being bombarded with things. So grounding and protecting when you wake up and when you go to bed, I think would be the most effective thing for you. If you don't have 10 minutes out of your day, that's a bad sign that you need to make it, because you need at least a couple minutes to yourself every day. And if you don't have that yet, if you can't create that for yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to move forward and feel not only more confident in yourself, but more confident in what you're trying to create and manifest. And part of you recognizing your value and your worth is you actually remembering that you need to nourish yourself, that you need to make sure that you are drinking enough water, that you're getting enough sleep. Obviously, that's really difficult to always do all the time. I was literally just thinking the other day about how ridiculous it is that I need to eat 3 times a day. Like, that, what? I mean, if my car was like, I need to go to the gas station in the morning, at noon, at night, I would be like, you are too much for me. I'll just walk everywhere. Like, human bodies are annoying and frustrating. But unfortunately, you're in one. Fortunately and unfortunately, you're in one. And you have a mission and you have a purpose here. And so whether you know what that is or not, your higher self is trying to give you guidance about this, and they're unable to. They're trying to, but they're unable to fully reach you because your anxiety is literally just a barrier for spirit. Like, I am most out of touch with myself when I am most anxious. And as a person who suffers from like an anxiety disorder, there's a difference between having anxious thoughts and then having really, really bad anxiety. So if you have like an anxiety disorder or something like that, please make sure that you're getting help for things of that nature, because it's not easy to just fix that problem on your own. It's probably not a problem that you're going to be able to fix entirely by yourself. If you can, that's wonderful. But if not, there should be no shame in seeking help. But that seems like that's what your higher self wants to say overall. So let's pull some tarot cards now and kind of see what else they want to say. Naturally, my shuffles are not doing very well. Sorry if that message was hard. Blech. See, now my throat chakra's blocked. Sorry if that message was harsh. It kind of seems like your higher self isn't coming to play today. And if I'm being honest, I pick up on the vibe from some of you that you have no problem telling people their business. And your higher self is like, where do you think that comes from? Like, your higher self, like, honestly, your higher self, I can just hear your higher self saying, like, yeah, you probably don't want to hear from me because you don't want to hear what I have to say. But too bad, bitch. Yeah, your higher self is funny. I like it, but okay. So what else does Pyramid 1's higher self want to say to pile 1? Okay, yeah, 5 of Pentacles. All right, go off. Okay. 10 of Cups in reverse. Wheel of Fortune. Queen of Cups. We're going to put that 10 of Cups here. What's on the back of the deck? Aha, 6 of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, this is basically confirming everything that I was saying. And I love when cards do that because it just makes me feel good about myself. So, this 5 of Pentacles is definitely confirming that either you're not doing so great right now, or your fear of going back to a place where things haven't been so great is very prevalent and maybe making it more difficult for you to be driven, present, motivated every single day, know where you're going, know what's next for you. And I feel like part of your problem is that you could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, have those placements. You certainly don't have to be in order for this to resonate. But from what I can see here with this Queen of Cups is that you definitely have more psychic ability than you realize, and your intuition is stronger than you're aware of. Part of the problem, though, is that it's easier for you to apply this towards other people than it is yourself. And so part of the reason why it's so important for you to work on your solar plexus, to feel more confident in yourself and to recognize your worth, is because it's hard for you to extend that love to yourself when you don't view yourself as worthy of it. With this 6 of Pentacles here, your higher self and spirit are really kind of asking you to look at how much you're giving to others and how much you're giving to yourself, because it honestly feels like you're giving twice as much to others as you do yourself, and that's just not helpful for you. That's part of the reason why you're so drained and why you're so tired. So for some of you, you may want to reevaluate who is in your circle and why they're there. Do they add benefit? Do they bring benefits to your life? You know, are you able to establish boundaries with them? Because if you're not, that's a huge problem, and that's somebody that you probably shouldn't have in your life. I'm getting a specific message for those of you who may have grown up in poverty and things like that, there may need to be things that you need to heal with that, because it might be holding your fears of maybe going back to a place or a time in your life that wasn't very great, even if it's not like poverty related. I feel like for some of you though, specifically, there's trauma around like poverty and fears of falling back into that. And so I want you to know that's not something that you should feel ashamed of, and that, like, you know, I think especially for people who grow up in poverty, when you are discovering your spirituality and things like that, hearing things about an abundance mindset are very just like hard to understand. And also obviously there are systems in place and things like that that become barriers that make achieving things more difficult. And so understandably, it's very hard to kind of heal those sorts of things. So I think one thing that Spirit is saying, and one thing that your higher self is saying, is that it not only has it gotten better, as I feel like it has for a lot of you, but it will continue to keep getting better. But one thing that you need to understand is that when you're struggling, that doesn't mean that that's your baseline, that that's where you're meant to be, and that that's what you deserve to have. Like when you're suffering, your spirit guides aren't like, or your higher self or anything isn't sitting there being like, ha, look at them suffering, exactly what we wanted. We're so happy that Pile 1 is just suffering and hates their life. That's exactly what we wanted for them. Like that's not what's going on at all. Like it's hard for your guides to watch you. It's hard for your higher self to watch you, you know, actively beat yourself up and put yourself down, because the people that know you, or people, I guess the energy that knows and loves you more than anything in the world is an energy that you can't even see. And so what your higher self is asking you, especially if you have Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo placements, is to try to get out of your fixed mindset, because you could be just a very fixed individual and you could be very rigid and hard to get out of certain routines. And so I think your guides are saying right now, with this 10 of Cups in reverse, if your routine is not satisfying you, it's time to make a change. But also, you have such a fear of this 10 of Cups coming true. Because like, what does that actually mean for you? The 10 of Cups is all about emotional fulfillment and happiness. But I think one thing that we need to understand, which I mean, I think, you know, the 5 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups are literally opposites of one another, right? But with this Wheel of Fortune, your higher self is asking you to remember that life happens in cycles. You're going to have highs and you're going to have lows. There's never going to be a stagnant, fixed energy that you are in, because the only constant in our lives is change. Things are constantly going to be changing. And actually, one thing, especially for those of you who did grow up in poverty or did grow up in a situation that was really traumatic and traumatizing, I think part of your purpose, you know, while you are a naturally very giving person, part of your purpose is to achieve a lot and make a lot so that you can give back to the community that helped prop you up. For some of you, that's a specific message. But for others, I think what Spirit wants you to understand is that, one, we're not giving you all of this abundance just so that you can give it away. Some of it needs to go to you. You should be looking into investing as well. For some of you, I heard, if you have the money to put aside, which, oh my gosh, now as a person channeling, literally my mom has been talking to me so much about investing, and as somebody who does not care about finances in the slightest, it literally rips a hole in my psyche. I'm just like, I can't listen to this, but she's doing it because she's right and she's helping me. So even if it's something you don't want to do it anyway, because it could help you in the long run. I think one thing that your higher self wants you to know is that your success is not there to be ripped away and make you feel worse. Your success is there to show you what you're made of and show you what you're capable of. And not only that, to show you what else you can do and how you can top that. I mean, if this is what you've created for your life now, imagine if you just believed in yourself and trusted that you're deserving of all the good things coming. Imagine how much easier things would flow to you. I think this is a lot about flow, and part of the problem when it comes to like flow is especially for my ADHD peeps, it's not easy, but like you may neglect your own physical needs, maybe unintentionally. Like for example, for my ADHD people, when you hyper focus on something, it can be really easy to forget your basic needs for hours on end. So if you need to set reminders or do something like that, I would highly recommend the channel How to ADHD. They've been really helpful for me. But the thing is that we can't use the things like there's a difference between recognizing where you have challenges and you're going to need extra support, and using the things that challenge you as an excuse not to do the thing. So instead of me saying, well, I have ADHD, so I can't do my laundry, I would say instead, okay, well, doing my laundry is a huge challenge. How can I find solutions to make it a bit better? And one of the solutions that you have to have for my people who are not neurotypical is you have to stop holding yourself to neurotypical standards, because you're just operating with literally a different brain. And if other people don't understand that, that's on them, not you. But what I think you need to understand is that you just shame yourself a lot for things that you don't need to shame yourself for. And I think that you are perpetuating this cycle of bad things coming to you, because I think you're very afraid of what might happen if these good things that came were here to stay. You know what I mean? But I think one thing that Spirit is trying to get you to understand is that the suffering that you've dealt with in the beginning years of your life were not suffering that was meant to be there forever. That was a part of your life, but it's not meant to be a part of your life forever. In fact, things are supposed to just get better for you. And there's so many gifts from the universe that they want to give you. But in order to ground those gifts, you have to be co-creating with Spirit and creating momentum and movement. Movement is the most important thing. Like, you don't want to be stagnant in this case. But I'm going to go ahead now and pull some messages from your higher self and just see what your higher self wants to say to you. This is the My Higher Self Oracle deck, by the way. So we will see what your higher self wants to say to you. This one's already coming out. What did I say? My heart and lungs are made of water. I will drink more water to replenish what my body needs. I told you, drink more water. And I've been, speaking of, I need to drink more water because I'm getting thirsty. Okay, let's see. What else does pile one's higher self want to say? I will focus on myself. Now is the time for my inner growth. Yes. I'm giving my best today. I'm showing up, I'm trying, and that's good enough. Exactly. This is exactly what you need. It's not that you have to always be on 100. It's not that you have to be perfect or have to go above and beyond, but that you're recognizing that you're doing your best and honestly saying, yes, I am doing my best. Yes, I am working my hardest. That is good enough. Whatever is your good enough, that is what you should be going for. That might not be somebody else's good enough, but you don't have to be good enough for somebody else. You have to be good enough for yourself, and that's it. I keep myself at a high vibration so I'm less bothered by nonsense situations. I think that's a huge part of your problem, is that you have been bothered by nonsense situations. And I think you also have been dealing with people maybe just telling you things that are really shitty and untrue because they are jealous or threatened by the progress that you've been making in your own life. Ha! Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. I love that these are confirming because this is my first time using this deck and I love this. I will work better on my finances so I remove the blockages limiting my abundance. And on the back of the deck, it's time to be more present. I've missed some blissful moments. Yeah, that is why this grounding is truly so important, because you're fearing your life away. Like literally, especially if you're younger, you may not realize now, but we only have a finite amount of time on this earth, and you only have a finite amount of time to get things done. And I'm not saying that to stress you out. I'm saying that to make you realize that the people in your life today, the people around you today that you love and care about won't always be there, because life is constantly moving. And so it's really important to value a beautiful day when you have it. It's important to value that sweet neighbor of yours that always bakes you shit. It's important to value especially your friends and your family, the people that do love and support you. Now, obviously, if family or things like that is not good for your growth. Only people that you love and enjoy being around that lift you up. Those are the people that you want to be around and cherish. But I feel like right now you may be really struggling to do that because your anxiety is lying to you, or you're not even anxiety, because this could be a plethora of mental health issues. It could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be ADHD, for example. I was constantly diagnosed with depression and anxiety until I was diagnosed with ADHD. So if you, especially if you're a woman and struggling with, women are less diagnosed than men when it comes to attention deficit disorder, but essentially, if you've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety and something's not working, I would look into attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, because like for me, for example, I didn't get it diagnosed until I was a junior in college, and that was because I was able to suffer through everything and people just didn't notice and assumed I was fine. So I thought that I was fine, actually. So yeah, things that you may be hard on yourself for could be things that nobody realizes that you have to go through. And I think that's another big reason. I think almost Spirit is saying, let other people help you as well. Like, you're so helpful to others. Look, as I cut this deck ground and center, you are so helpful to others, but other people want to help you as well. Like, don't feel like the help that other people want to give you is not deserved. And stop believing that your dreams are not meant to come true, and that you're not meant to have a good life, because Spirit would have not put you on this earth if you weren't meant to do something really special. And that doesn't mean that life isn't hard or that suffering isn't involved. Nobody leaves this earth unscathed. Everybody suffers here. Let me be clear. There is nobody that comes to this earth and leaves like, that was a really good time. Like, yeah, like nothing bad happened to me, won the lottery all the time. Like, you know, just got tons of lovers. I don't know, like, everybody struggles. You are not the only one in the world with struggles, neither is anyone else. And one thing that you need to understand is that suffering is just a part of life, but that doesn't mean that suffering needs to be your entire life, nor does that mean that you deserve to suffer, because you certainly do not. But we're going to get some practical advice for things that you can do moving forward, or what does your higher self want you to do moving forward that could help with this, just like immediately. Give into passion. So one thing that you could do is, you know, when you find your mind racing, when you find yourself struggling, do something that makes you really passionate. Even, it doesn't have to be something poetic, like violin. It could literally, if you're passionate about video games, play video games. If you're passionate about TV shows, watch TV. Like, it doesn't have to be such a, like, ideally it's better that you're moving around, but even if you just need a distraction from your own brain, I think that's okay too. We also have gratitude and thanks. So one thing that Spirit wants you, and your higher self wants you to focus on more, is instead of focusing on what you don't have, find gratitude for what you do have. Because, you know, it's very easy to focus on what we don't have, but I find that, like, you know, when I do practice gratitude, I just feel so much more blessed, and I feel so much luckier, and my wants and needs go down by a lot. I guess one thing too that you may want to be aware of is that your wants and your needs may be different, and that you gotta focus less on the wants and focus more on the needs. We also have hibernation and regeneration. Yeah, you definitely need, like, just rest time to just not worry about, like, life. And so if that means, like, you know, taking some time off, for some I heard, like, medical leave. So, like, if you're in school and you get really overwhelmed, medical leave is something that you can do to get more help. But I think one thing that you need to know is that, like, just rest is an important thing in general. Like, being more present in the moment, finding things to be grateful for. And also, when you struggle to get out of your own mind, doing something that will at the very least be enjoyable, so that you're not just existing in this anxious suffering. What did I say? Oh my God. Okay, yeah. And finally, we have ground and center. So yeah, this is your guide's way, or your higher self's way of reiterating that you really need to ground and center. And I'm actually being called to read what it says for ground and center, because I feel like it could be helpful. So this deck that I'm using, I'll just go ahead now, is the Everyday Witch Oracle. You don't have to be a witch for it to apply, but we do need to find ground and center. So There is it, please. Oh, there we go. The world is full of distractions that pull us a million different directions. Sometimes we just need to stop and ground, centering ourselves so that we can stand strong and rooted no matter what we face. Grounding is good preparation for magical work, but it also helps us if we are facing any challenging situation or even just getting ready to leave the house and deal with daily life. And I think that's just one thing. Leaving the house and dealing with daily life, I think is something that is difficult for you, and that's absolutely okay. It's difficult for me. I hate leaving the house, but like we got to do it, unfortunately. So grounding and protecting is huge. So action, do something that grounds you. For some people, this is yoga or meditation. For others, it is sitting outside under a tree. Figure out what grounds you and do it. Breathing is always a good place to start. So if you need to ground, take 3 long, slow breaths and let them out. Remember to feel the strength of the earth below as you breathe. Divination, have you been feeling scattered and frantic? This card is a reminder to ground and center yourself on a regular basis, not just during magical work. Look at the witch on the card. Doesn't she look serene? That kind of calm often feels out of reach, but grounding and centering can move us in that direction. Yeah. Like, look at that. You need to have this energy, like this grounding and centering energy. That's what your higher self wants to see from you. They also want to see you snuggled up in bed, having a nice sleep as well. So if you haven't been prioritizing your sleep, you need to as well. And magic, sit or stand on the ground with your feet firmly planted, outside if you can, but inside will do. Hold a crystal in your hands in front of your core and near your belly button. Feel the strength of the earth element that formed it and take that strength into yourself, starting with your core and then moving down through your feet to connect with the ground below. Close your eyes and visualize yourself sending roots down into the ground. And imagine that the gods have left a message for you under the earth. What does it say? Be sure to thank the element for its gifts. So hopefully that will help you, because I talked a lot about grounding and centering. But yeah, essentially what I was saying was confirmed by the cards. So I'm going to finish off with these Divine Door cards, and we'll just see what final advice Spirit has for you. And then I will show you all the decks that I used if that is something you are curious about. So Spirit, or Pile 1's higher self, what final advice do you have for Pile 1 when it comes to this reading? Okay. So on the back of the deck, we have this one, and it says, offerings, abundance lies in the heart that allows. Share more than expected and see love come around. So that may not be helpful because I literally just told you, like, be more selfish, but you'll know when it's right to give. You'll know. We also have this one, and it says, Divine Guardian. Do not be nervous today or tonight. The path you are on will lead you just right. This is your higher self saying, like, I got you. Like, I promise, double pinky promise, this is from your higher self, not, well, I guess it could be from ASO too, but like, I'm the vessel for your higher self. So your higher self is double pinky promising you that they are there to help you and guide you, and that they love you, and they're not here to like ruin your life. We also have Sunset. Time here turns to release and unfurl. Old cords of pain fade as the sun's light burns. Yeah, I guess that's a poetic way of saying, like, things will be released through time. But I think it's also that it's time to do some healing on certain things that have had their time, if that makes sense. And finally, with this one, we have passages. Spiritual signs of inclination. You're walking through passages of your transformation. And so that's the biggest thing that your higher self wants you to know, is that you're doing amazing. It's just that you might get frustrated with outside things, like a message not being what you want to hear, or by things not happening at the pace that you want, or things happening the way that you want. And your higher self is essentially saying, it's harder for us to get things done in the physical world than you might think, but the best thing that we can do is co-create with you. So you need to be an active member, an active participant in your own healing and in your own guidance, so that you can actually trust yourself when it's time to make decisions and move forward. But you can't do any of that until your basic needs are met. So your biggest assignment from your higher self is to take care of your basic needs first and foremost, and then we can move from there. Ground and protect your energy, take care of your basic needs. That's what you need to know. And then you can build on the rest of it as time goes on. But if you don't have those solved, you're not going to be able to do much else, because like, I know I'm a cranky bitch when I don't have enough sleep. So think about yourself on a full night's sleep, fully watered and fed. That alone will do so much for your energy, but then grounding and protecting it as well will really help you become less sensitive, or not less sensitive. It will help you face just the difficult aspects of everyday life a lot easier. So that is your reading, pile 1. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching my ads. That is the simplest and easiest way to support me. There's no extended on this reading, so that is pretty much the only way to, well, one of the ways that you can support me. But if you want to support me in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, make sure you're clicking that little bell notification to get notified when I upload new readings. For those of you who have already clicked on it, make sure that it is still clicked, because YouTube doesn't show my videos sometimes for some reason, or just they don't show up for people. So make sure that is a thing. But one thing I want to note is that the fire, like the flame in this, has gotten stronger over the reading. So I think that you guys are already getting to the point of where you need to be. I think you just needed this little reminder. But if you want to follow me on my social medias, those will be linked below, as well as my merch. If you are interested in that, that will be linked below as well. So for the decks that I used in this reading today, the tarot deck that I used is the Modern Witch Tarot by Lisa Sturl. The oracles that I used, this one was the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. This one was the Chakra Reading Cards Oracle. And then the middle one, this one, was the Secret Language of Light, Transmissions from Your Soul by Denise Jarvie. And then, yeah, this one was the Higher Self Oracle deck by Total Divine. And then, yeah, the little Divine Doors and the Everyday Witch, which I already showed you. So pile 1, I am going to leave this here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this resonated. If not, no big deal, but I hope that it helped anyway. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, pile 2. If you guys chose the big Fickle Pyramid, this is going to be your reading, and the collective that we are going to be channeling for all of you is the Starseed Collective. That we are going to be channeling is the Starseed Collective. So if you clicked on this pile, it is highly, highly likely that you resonate with the term Starseed or resonate with star energy. For a little bit of added bonus, I added some Moldavite and Libyan desert glass to our reading to just kind of put some more space ass energy. But essentially what I'm going to be doing here is, for this reading specifically, we are going to be looking at part of your mission here on Earth, and this is going to be something that applies not only to you, but to everybody who clicked on this video, so long as it resonates. And also, I had a message that I was guided to give by my own guides. If you identify, for example, as like a Pleiadian starseed or a Syrian starseed, the starseed energy that's coming through is asking you to be open to the idea that you may have been to more than one place. It's likely you resonate with one stronger than another because you've probably had a lot of lifetimes there or have had a lot of experience there. But with the energy that's coming through, it's highly likely that you have had lifetimes in many different places. There's just energies that you may resonate more or less with. But essentially what we're going to do with these cards is I'm going to see a karmic challenge that everyone that picked this pile is going through. And karmic challenge does not mean bad. Karmic challenge can be good. So we're just kind of seeing, like, what is a collective mission as starseeds that we're supposed to be focused on, or what is something that we are doing to kind of elevate ourselves as souls? Why the hell are we here? I guess that's the biggest question, is like, why are we here? And for all of you, there are very specific answers to that. So we're only kind of looking at the general ones, like the main idea ones, but there are much smaller ones on like a personal level. So if you guys like this reading, I would be more than happy to make like just a legit reading for starseeds and kind of go deeper into like the collectives and like things like that. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know. But let's just see if this reading resonates for you first. So we're going to use those to look at the karmic challenges. And then also, if you want to know what decks I am using, I'm going to show you at the very end. Okay, this new chapter card wants to come out. We're taking it. I will be showing all the decks I'm using at the very end. Okay, so one thing that the starseeds coming through want to let you know about is a new chapter of some kind. So what else is this karmic challenge about? Let go. Okay, so one thing that I'm hearing right away is that on a micro level, you could be in the process right now of letting go of certain things in your life. This could be people, places, things. You could be moving and starting a new chapter. I almost kind of want to put let go here and new chapter here. But on a macro level, part of the reason why you're on Earth is to let go of things that you have picked up in these other collectives and start a new chapter for the world. So for example, the Orion collective is known for having like the deepest karmic differences, or the most conflict, or the most like separation between people. And so one of the things that like the Orion, which like things got bad apparently, one of the things that people that existed in the Orion collective have needed to heal is karmic challenges with people, karmic challenges around conflict, for example. That's just one example, but that's why I say you could have definitely been many different places, especially if you don't resonate with a specific one. So it'll be interesting to see what comes through here. So on a collective level, our starseed brethren, our, I guess we should just call them brethren, right? I don't know. Our starseed pals up there vibing in space. What karmic challenge are we here to, excuse me, resolve? Why the hell are we here? Okay, well, to start, we have Earth graduation. So maybe for some of you, you're literally graduating, which exciting. Congrats. Complete surrender. We have Lyra. Okay. We have community. We have homing beacon. Okay, wow. Okay, so back of the deck energy is arrogance, and I think we need to take it. So the biggest message that I'm hearing right away is that we need to stop assuming that we know everything, especially when it comes to starseed energy and things like that. For some of you, I'm getting a specific message that if you are really heavily into starseed energy, if that's something that you feel really connected to, that is really special to you, you may have found that you now have kind of a bias or a distaste for Earth and for very human humans. And I think one thing that your starseed ancestors and the star seeds that guide you, one thing that they want you to know is that you weren't brought on Earth to think that you're better than them. I'm not saying that you do, but there may be some internal bias like, oh my God, these people are barbarians, or oh my God, these people will never understand me, or oh my God, like I can't stand earthlings. And it's like, with peace and love, you're an earthling too. Like you may not feel like one because you've been a lot of other places. But if you're here watching this video, unless I am aware of some extraterrestrial bullshit, you're watching this on Earth. So, or at the very least, the International Space Station. That would be really cool, but I highly doubt anyone on the International Space Station is watching this. They're probably doing very important science things. So shout out to them. But essentially, a big reason why we're here is to, one, let go of a lot of difficult experiences that our souls have picked up in previous lifetimes in different places. And also to recognize that our souls can call many different places home, and that actually our true home kind of resides within ourself. So it kind of seems like a lot of people born around my time, so that would be like, I guess I don't even want to say my time, but like as time has progressed and as time keeps going, more and more people are going to start resonating with this starseed energy. Because this is kind of a collective thing. More and more are coming now that the vibration of the earth is rising, if that makes sense. But part of your starseed energy is, part of what you're learning is literally how to surrender. And part of you being here on earth is to go to earth school and to learn how to be human. While you may not be a part of the earth, you are right now. You're of the, there's a card in this deck, in a different deck that I'm thinking of. It's essentially called Earth School. We're all here to experience what it is like being human, and to also recognize that you're kind of already here. And so there's only one way out. We know what that is. And we certainly don't want anyone doing anything to make that happen sooner than it's supposed to. So if you're having any bad thoughts, any thoughts of harming yourself, please like get help. Like, you're here for a reason. And one thing that your star family wants you to know is that they love you so much, and they know how fucking difficult it is to be here, and how difficult it is to feel like you are a part of Earth and to feel like you belong here. But these are your guides saying, yeah, you are a bit like a fish out of water. We know that, but there are a lot of other people just like you that feel the same way. So one thing, if y'all want to like give each other some support in the comments, I think that would be huge. But I think one thing that people like wonder sometimes is like, well, this is a collective reading. Like, you know, how do I know that this resonates for me when it resonates for other people? And it's like, well, like, this is so many people. And it's like, well, yeah. But when you think about how it's distributed through like time and space, not everybody's seeing this message at the same time. And the people that are seeing the message are dispersed all throughout the planet and in different places. So it's not like only people in a certain community are seeing this and it's resonating for all of them. If you really thought about it, like, there's really not very many people that are like gonna see this and gonna resonate with it, and that you actually are more unique than you realize. But part of your mission here is to accept Earth as a part of this community, to accept Earth energy, Earthlings. I think that there is maybe a bias against Earth energy. And the way that it's being explained to me is it's not on a collective level. It's more subtle than we realize, and we all are kind of guilty of it at certain points where we feel uncomfortable just being on Earth. And I say we because like the information I'm channeling, like, not only do I resonate with this energy, but I like want you to understand that this is not, I'm not here as I'm giving messages that I don't feel qualified. Like, I'm in the same boat as you guys, I guess is what I'm trying to say, which I hope brings you comfort. But what your star families are trying to tell you is that part of your mission is to help integrate Earth with the rest of the cosmos. And so by doing that, by incarnating as a human soul and understanding the way humanity works and how things work on an earthly level, you are helping Earth become part of the galactic community. Because as of right now, the way that humans view Earth and the rest of the cosmos is very separated. Obviously, because it's not like we can just walk out our front door and be like, see you, Mom, I'm going to the stratosphere. Like, it doesn't work that way. And unless you are really good at science and are ready to do a lot of it, you're probably not going to go up to space anytime soon. So I said anytime soon. I'm sure that they'll do it in the future if you've got a lot of money. But, like, you know, we're just being realistic. I think one thing that your star family wants you to know and wants you to understand is that this longing for home that you have is a temporary feeling, and that one day that is like an itch, I guess, that will be scratched when you move on from this lifetime. And that's a difficult thing to recognize. But what your star family wants you to understand is like, think of Earth as like a vacation. It's not an easy vacation. It's not one that's very light and airy. I mean, it's difficult. I guess it's more like school than vacation, right? Yeah, Spirit's already correcting me. So it's less so about, you're here to learn. You're here to grow. And you being on Earth is not a forever thing. And so what your star family wants you to understand is, it's almost like you're at Earth Hogwarts right now and you're like wishing you were at home with the Dursleys. Like, not saying that your starseed family is the Dursleys, but like what your starseed family is trying to say is like, you're gone for a reason. Okay, let's say your starseed family is not the Dursleys, it's the Weasleys. Okay, and obviously it's really fun to be at home with Weasleys and all that, but you'll get to go back there. Like, you're just removed for a little while. This is temporary, and you being here is temporary. And so what your starseed family wants you to understand is that your time on Earth will end, but you have a mission here while you're here. And I think one thing your starseed family wants you to know is that they are happy to give you any signs of their presence that you want. But part of you being here is that you're doing very valuable work for the whole galactic collective, where you're helping integrate Earth with that. You know, obviously, because like, for example, contact made with different light beings, for example, like aliens and shit like that, there hasn't really been a lot of that's been widely accepted and documented. I know there's a lot of like crazy UFO shit and stuff like that, and I don't know much about that, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know. But part of starseeds being here is a process of not only helping the Earth evolve and grow, it's to also help your soul evolve and grow, and to help the Earth become part of more of a galactic community and recognize that the Earth is not just this separated small place in this grand vast cosmos, but in fact the Earth is a part of the cosmos. The Earth is a part of everything that makes the cosmos, and that by being a part of Earth, you are almost a starseed as well. Like, Earth and star are not that different. Like, I mean, the sun is a star, for example, right? But earthly energy, the planet Earth, is a piece of the cosmos. And so I think because it's hard to kind of zoom out that far and recognize that we are like citizens of a galaxy, the Milky Way, we're Milky Way galaxy citizens, right? Part of your mission here is to kind of help integrate that energy and to get the experience of being human, because it will help you move forward on your next mission, whatever that may be. We don't know. And that's kind of the beauty of it. And I think that your star family is really asking you not to wish the experience of Earth away, because there are a lot of unique and valuable things here that we don't have elsewhere, like the taste of pizza, or that feeling when you can itch a scratch, like where you couldn't find where the itch was and then you finally get to scratch it. That's pretty badass. Sunsets. I mean, I'm sure there's sunsets in other places as well, but I think your star family is asking you to embrace the fact that you're here. And that may be difficult for some of you, but they want you to understand that you're here for a reason. And being upset about the fact that you're here, which I think we all kind of go through that at some point. I feel like what they want you to understand is that you're here to have a human experience. Like, whether you like it or not, you're in a fleshy meat body and you gotta exist in it for a while until it expires. And I know that's like, I don't know, I don't view it as dark, because to me it's just like natural. But yeah, let's see what else they want to say, because that's the overall vibe that I'm getting. So we'll pull some tarot cards, which this is the biggest tarot deck I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, okay, the Lovers talks about a choice. You chose to be here, whether you believe it or not, you did. And I think that's one thing that, actually, like, one thing that I have heard, like, just as I'm doing this, is that, you know, choosing as like, somebody who is not a naturally, like, not a very earthly soul, choosing to incarnate here is actually really noble, because you're walking into a place where people are actively going to misunderstand you, and you're incarnating in a body that you're not going to understand. Everything's going to be really scary and really overwhelming for you, and that's probably been your experience. But the more time goes on and the more you're you have that validation of like, okay, like I'm not from here. Like, yes, there are a lot of weird things that are an aspect of my existence. The more you'll start to realize that Earth is just a trip you're on, and the things will end there. But I think one thing as well that the starseeds coming through want you to know, as well as everybody watching, is that having a sense of community and supporting others is really important, instead of maybe tearing other people down or things like that, or just, judging other people for how they view things. We shouldn't be doing that. We should just accept people as they are, and focus on ourselves, but at the same time be open and welcoming to all different types of people in the community. So, or in the starseed community in general. But I think what your light family wants you to know is that they still send you signs all the time. It's more so that you just have to be aware of it. And if you're unaware of what their signs may be, ask them, or ask them for specific signs that you can confirm. But okay, so Seeker of Crystals. I believe this is the Queen of Pentacles. What else? What other messages? Alchemy. What is that? Okay, 10, 14. Okay, this is Temperance. Okay. One more. These are the biggest cards I've ever seen. Okay, 2 more, I guess. Okay, 5 of Wands. Oh, 3 more. Okay, Jesus. All right. Okay. All right, okay. So we have the Sage of Cups. Okay, we have the 6 of Wands, King of Cups, and the 5 of Wands. So that is interesting. Okay. I think one thing that star beings are here to help is with, like, there's a lot of just aspects of the human experience that are kind of distorted, that need to be healed and transmuted. So one of them, for example, is a scarcity mindset, or like there's a lot of distorted masculine principles of, only the strongest will survive, and that you have to fight to live. And I think one thing that your starseed family is really telling you is that despite the competition, know that your soul was wired to succeed, and that you can create whatever it is that you want here. And part of the beauty of having this star energy and having this different perspective from a lot of people is that you have a power and a soul understanding that not a lot of people do, if they're solely more earthly beings. They're wired a different way. What's difficult for you is that your soul is wired one way, your biological body that you're existing in is wired in another way. And so you're constantly dealing with that difference, and that can be incredibly difficult. But what your starseed family wants you to understand is that by embracing the physical world, by embracing the physical aspects of who you are, by embracing the fact that you're in a disgusting meat sack that you have to maintain every single day and feed all the time and nurture and give water and shit, like, can actually be a benefit. It's very irritating. I was literally saying this in the last reading. I was like, I think it's ridiculous that we have to fuel ourselves 3 times a day. Like, really? If my car did that, I would be like, sorry, I'm walking. Like, this is just not worth it. But your time here is not meant to be a time of struggle. It's not meant to make you hate the earth and just wait and be excited for when you may finally leave. Like, no, that's not what your life purpose here is. For all of you, there's deeper purposes here. But with this alchemy card, this being Temperance, Sagittarius energy, every starseed on this earth, their mission is to learn how to integrate and balance earth and star energy to create success, to create emotional maturity, and to create financial abundance. Because I do think that there are things karmically that you're going to be releasing And maybe Earth is like a place where where this happens. I don't know. I would have to talk to my guides. And truthfully, when I channel like star energy, it's so different than like anything else I've ever channeled, and it's very different and weird. So sometimes I worry that I don't always pick it up correctly, but that's usually only when we're talking about things that are like when I'm asking questions about random shit. But that's also something that we could do too. If like you guys ever have questions that you want to ask, like star beings, for example, star seeds, we can do that. Like I can do just a specific reading to ask questions. I think that would be kind of interesting. But anyway, back to the reading. Yeah, with this 6 of Wands here, I just heard you gotta fight for your right to party, which I find funny, but this is literally all about you finding your own power and learning how to utilize the fact that you have a physical form and that you are in the world of form and free will, and use that to your benefit, because this star energy that you have is an asset. It's not something that's there to hold you back. It's there to, I mean, you are blessed with natural gifts, natural understandings, and abilities that a lot of like just very earthly souls don't have. And so this is a blessing. This is not a curse. This is not here to make your life harder. This is to show you, one, the benefit of like Mother Earth and the benefit of Earth energy and the beauty of Earth. You know, you have to experience Earth in order to be able to appreciate it. And one thing that I'm hearing is that not all star energy feels comfortable incarnating here. So the fact that you did that makes you badass, like super badass. Like you should feel like a badass. Even if you don't feel like a badass, you are a badass. So suck it up. Anyway, I definitely think there's this deep feeling in your heart that like this Earth is not home, and that this is not where like you're from, and this is not where you've been, and you're right about that. And why am I hearing Cotton Eye Joe? I haven't been here a long time ago. Maybe you've been here a couple times, maybe it's been a while. I don't know, it's going to be different for all of you, but essentially you're here to make waves, and you're here to be your badass self and show the Earth what you're fucking made of, man. Like this is not meant to be a time where you're just like suffering and hating the world. That's how it has to start, so that you can do some self-discovery. Like imagine if you were incarnated on this Earth and you never had any issues, everything was easy, life was good, you never had any problems. You'd probably be a dickhead with no character. Like with peace and love, I mean, there's a South Park episode that talks all about this. Like when you have it easy in life, like you don't work very hard. There's a South Park episode where Craig gets voted the hottest boy in school, and Kyle is on the bottom of the list, and that's obviously really upsetting to Kyle. And then the ghost of Abraham Lincoln comes back and is like, Kyle, listen, these kids right now that are viewed as unpopular and unattractive, they have to get talents, they have to get skills, they have to do something to make them interesting. Whereas the people that just have it easy and people like them because maybe they're just physically attractive or whatever, they're gonna have the personality of a wet carrot, and like that is going to outlast their physical looks and things of that nature. So especially if you're younger or like in high school or something like that, and you're just like, wow, I hate everything, life sucks, it gets better. But also know that like after high school, things really, really, really change, and you will change a lot as well. It's a specific message for some of you, but for others, really the biggest message here is that your suffering was meant to be in the beginning of your life, because first of all, you're acclimating to Earth, which is not easy and which is jarring and can be really difficult, especially if you have abilities like being an empath or something like that. That just adds a whole other layer of suffering to it. But this suffering was to get you to realize that you've got a deeper mission here, that there's something that you need to do. Like when things feel wrong, it's because they're not right. And so all of your suffering has led you to the understanding of, oh, there's more to me than just this Earth. No wonder I feel like I don't fit in. It's because I don't fit in. It's because I'm not from here. And I think that starseeds really only started coming to this planet when it was evolved enough for there to even be a possibility for starseed energy to like survive and be okay. For some, that's a lot longer than others. So I mean, I'm sure we've had starseeds incarnating for a really, really, really long time, but there's probably no academic well, certainly no academic record of it, but there's probably no record of it at all. Because that wasn't even a concept at the time. But the one thing that you need to understand is that if you're following your heart and what fulfills you, like look how similar this new chapter and this Sage of Cups is. Like this is all about like, or it's technically a King of Cups. This is your starseed family saying, we'll back you in whatever makes your heart happy. We want you to be here on earth so that not only can you succeed, but you can, one, help the earth as well, and two, accomplish your dreams. Oh my God, I'm hearing Hilary Duff from the Lizzie McGuire movie. Whatever the song is, like, this is what dreams are made of. Like that's the energy that's coming through. But let's go ahead and get some more messages now. These are specifically, okay, so this is technically a Pleiades oracle, so if you resonate with that, that could be direct messages from them, but if you don't resonate with Pleiades energy, this could just be your starseed fam. So what else does pile 2 need to know? Okay. All right, 3 cards. Perfect, beautiful. Okay, so we have Pacl's Tomb. I'm going to have to look that up. We have Mothership. And we have Forgiveness. Okay. Someone back in the dark. Okay, I don't even know what any of these mean, so we're going to have to look at the book. Well, okay, I know what forgiveness means. I'm not what's the word? I don't know, I forgot the word because I was looking for the book. I'm not that impossible. I don't know. I couldn't find the right word. Oh well. What the hell is Pacl's Tomb? We need to look at that. Okay. Oh, I flipped right to it. Our Pleiadian connection to humanity is very strong in many cultures around the world. From Andean lineages to Japan to the native peoples of all 4 corners, we the Pleiadians have been interconnected behind the scenes with a mission to assist humanity in their evolution and remind them of their deeper star origins. That's pretty much what I was saying, right? But perhaps one of our most impactful assignments with humanity is found in the heart of Mayan lands. These Mayan lineage holders, who are also direct descendants from Atlantis, hold many of the secrets in their bloodline to the codes of the living universe, in particular, their direct connection to the Mayan god known as Pacl. This being, so that's a god that maybe if y'all feel drawn to, you should look into. But this being was indeed beyond earthly, and we say was a full-born Pleiadian. Arriving in the jungles on a heroic journey to anchor a cosmic frequency into your planet, Pacl worked with and embedded the Mayan timekeepers with the codices in their genetics to survive the upcoming invasion that was foreseen ahead. And wait, but then didn't they not have, historically speaking, they didn't have a good time? I'm a little bit discerning of this, but it is likely possible that the Earth may have descended into an unthinkable lower dimensional scale during potential times of war and atomic bombs being dropped. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. With that said, we the Pleiadians are forever eternal to the Mayan lineage, and we honor their purity with all of our hearts. Pacl's Tomb, where the Mayan god was laid to rest, reveals many secrets of our star connections to this earth. His tomb is currently situated at the Temple of Inscriptions in Palenque, Palenque, Mexico. So maybe that's a place you want to visit too. A once thriving Mayan city that carried the wisdom of these former Atlantean ancestors. When the card of Pacl's Tomb arrives, it is a message that it is time to start paying close attention to the details around yourself. As we've embedded many secrets in Pacl's Tomb, so does the universe want to reveal something much greater to you. Start by paying attention to the finer details of life, and guidance will become clear. Attempt to zoom in to the micro of existence, and clarity will be revealed. So you know how I was saying earlier, X is a micro example of something on a macro level. So you integrating like with your earthly community and becoming a part of that is you integrating on a micro level the star energy that we're all trying to integrate on a macro level. So I will just say, as a disclaimer, as a person with a lot of schooling, sometimes I have a hard time with certain ideas around these things. So some things I will say take with a grain of salt. I like to think of a lot of things that we talk about with starseeds and stuff as more so on a soul level, but I think this stuff about Paco's tomb, I think that you should look into this and see if there's anything there. If you already live in Mexico, or you're from Mexico, or you have Mayan lineage or ancestry, for some of you maybe it's just that you have Mayan lineage and ancestry, but also, you know, if you know about that, comment down below and let us know what you know. Like, we'd love to know. With the forgiveness and the mothership, let's just see what's there. I'm probably not going to read the whole thing because, like, you know, it takes a long time, but I was not realizing that these cards would be so, like, I couldn't have intuited what that was. Like, I would have had no idea. So, okay. When this card of mothership arrives, it is your Pleiadian star family acknowledging your hue self to reach out to our ships. In our quantum reality, there's a high chance that one of your loved ones, or even a future version of yourself, that's wild, is present on these ships seeking to make contact for your evolutionary growth. Now is an ideal time to start stargazing. It's so crazy. As I started reading that, I heard Travis Scott in my head, like, stargazing. Meditating and sending out requests to commune with us. As we respect the free will of humanity, it is your requests that open the doorways of communication to flow at ease. Know you're being guided. So yeah, I think that your star family wants to communicate with you, even if it's not Pleiadian. Whatever you feel most connected to, this is a Pleiadian deck. So naturally it's going to come through that way. I'm probably saying Pleiades wrong, but, like, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at saying things. Okay. Loosen the load of your life by forgiving not only the ones who have done harm to you, but most importantly, by forgiving your beloved self. It is the judgment that one projects onto themselves that keeps an individual in a spiraling guilt attack loop, which unplugs one from their deeper soul essence. We, the Pleiadians, tell you that guilt and putting oneself down is never necessary in your life. Know that you are made of greatness, and by reclaiming yourself, you unslave yourself. Remove the shackles and break free from all past cycles by making a commitment to forgive the self. Allow these rains of forgiveness to pour down and open growth for the harvests of tomorrow. You are loved. So I would say take the core ideas of these messages, do what you need to with the tiny details, because even for me, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how much I don't know how much I agree with this, but that's the beauty. We don't have to agree with it. We don't have to yeah, I think one of the hardest things for me, this is just like a point, like, if you are like me and you have a difficult time sometimes, like, understanding, not understanding star energy, but taking star energy seriously, because sometimes it does get a bit like wee woo wee, and you're like, you know, that just recognize that's your grounded earthly energy, one, keeping you focused on the earthly side. So maybe for some of you, you might be like me, where you need to integrate and embrace the star parts of yourself more. I guess I'm really calling myself out there, but I think one thing that you need to know, especially when it comes to star energy, is to channel and get information for yourself, because there's a lot of information. I will say the information that came with this deck, which I'll show you guys at the end, I would say is probably just the most interesting and most thought-provoking, because I don't really take any of these things as like as a complete truth, but rather as a theory to explore. And, like, I feel open to explore it because it resonates with my soul, if that makes sense. So if there are certain aspects where you're like, yeah, that just doesn't vibe for me, like, only take what resonates for you, even in that star. And okay, so this came out and this already makes sense, but yeah, just think of star energy as something. It is something foreign, but it's foreign to your logical brain, but it's home to your soul. So your soul will understand it. So filter things through your soul. I guess it's hard because my logical brain was reading that and I was like, okay. I'm just a history nerd, that's the truth of it. Okay, anyway, so the first card that we have coming out for this pile is Starkeeper. Cosmic ancestors seed the light by staying grounded. So yeah, not only is this a confirmation of your star roots, but it's talking about how important it is that you need to be grounded and an active member of the planet so that you can actively bring more light to the planet. Because you can't do that if you don't ground yourself, ground your energy, you know, things of that nature. You kind of need to do that. If you felt drawn to the first pyramid, you may want to check that out, by the way. Yeah, inner earth, you'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings. One big message that I've been called to like give, and that I'm keeping reminded of, is that we have more and more star seed energies, like starseed like beings incarnating on earth every single day. Like the more of us that there are, the more that feel comfortable to go. It's like it's think of it as like the Oregon Trail, for example, or like what the pioneers did in the United States. Like the very first people to do that, it was a lot more dangerous and treacherous than, and it became easier for the people that came after, if that makes sense. Just on like a literal like level of like traveling and things like that. You know, the more people that go before you, the easier it makes for the people after us. So I think one thing that like your star family and just kind of spirit in general wants you to know is that like the more you embrace these parts of yourself, the more you'll be able to guide the younger people that come in, and you'll be able to recognize, oh, like they have star energy, or oh, they're definitely like a star sign of some kind. And it will help you not only be more familiar with who you are and where you come from, but also you'll help newer people that are newer to earth, souls that are newer to earth, and kind of help guide them and make them feel less alone too, because they're going to unfortunately experience a lot of the same things that we did. It's just kind of how it works. But our hope, right, is hopefully they won't have it as bad as we had it. So we also have deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. So Arcturian energy is another starseed energy. This deck talks about it being one of the first on the planet, but Arcturian energy is really is a big part of like what helps us with light work, what helps us channel light and channel spirit. So part of your purpose on earth here is to channel that Arcturian energy, not only to heal yourself physically and emotionally, but to heal others as well. And I'm being called that you need to look into Reiki if you haven't already. I think it could be really helpful for you. Oh my God, what was I saying? I'm sorry. I'm getting excited. I feel more insecure in this reading because channeling star energy is difficult, which for me, which is why I don't do it often. But maybe if I just did it more, I would be better at it. But so yeah, sorry for getting so excited. But yeah, forge, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. Because that is essentially what is like helping the people that come next. Like you're not here to follow what's already been done. You're here to create your own path. And on the back of the deck, we have Star Family. You're part of a team of souls, call in support. So not only is this external to Earth, but you have Star Family that is here on Earth. And so I think one thing that your star guides want you to know is that like, if you're not trying to manifest this, or if you haven't met your star family yet, try to manifest that. Try to see if it'll come in, because I think it will. It will just depend on time, how long, like time and things like that, depending on where you're at. So it'll be different for everyone. But essentially, you know, you're here to take the zone of awareness of Earth like up a notch and make people more aware of things that they weren't before. Make this external energy more accepting to people who are very earthly, or to very earthly souls. I don't even want to say people, I just want to say souls that are very earthly. Because resonating with the starseed energy is like cool as hell, but it's also kind of like isolating and shitty, right? Because it's not like you have any way besides what you feel in your soul and like maybe anything you've seen in past life regression. You don't have like the physical evidence right there in front of you, right? That's why signs are important. That's why readings are important. And obviously with all these cards, like there are people that have channeled a lot of really amazing information. But you just have to remember that when somebody's channeling something, it's going through their understanding and their experience. So it may not always be. The more people that are channeling, I guess I should say this, the more people that are channeling, the more we can confirm what is truth and what is not, because the more people pick up on the same things without realizing it, the more we can be like, oh yep, okay, this is something that spirit has been telling us, for example. But we're gonna finish off with some final advice from your star family, and this one actually fell onto the ground at the beginning of the reading, so we're gonna look at that one first. Fruition. Rest assured your dreams and visions will come to fruition. I love to see that, and because I think that's one thing that your guides, especially in your star family, want you to understand, is that you were brought here because they trust that you'll be able to carry out the missions that you are here. And those missions may not be like big things. It's just whatever you feel like you're meant to do. Oh, yep. Gaia, connect to the pulse of Mother Earth. She will guide you through this time of change. Yeah, this is part of that alchemy process. So if you don't feel like you're a part of Earth, if you resent humanity, if you resent the Earth, part of your mission here is to learn how to transmute that and recognize that you are a part of this as well. Choice. By staying conscious in your thoughts, you guide your journey in the direction of choice. Yeah, and I think one big thing, actually one of the biggest things, for example, in my spiritual awakening was when I realized that I chose to be on Earth. That sucked, because for a long time I was like, why am I here? I hate it here. It sucks. Like, oh, I have to like eat 3 times a day. Like, that takes so much time and energy. Like, I have to drink water all the time. Like, it's like messed up. And you don't understand it. But when I realized that I chose to be here, I don't know, I stopped whining about it, because I was like, well, shit, I guess I look pretty stupid to like everybody else. By everybody else, I mean like my guides, but I didn't even believe in my guides. I didn't even believe in guides at the time. But anyway, recognizing that you chose to be here is really freeing, but also we have free spirit. So to be a free spirit is to float without walls, to fly without judgment, and to love without conditions. So I think, yeah, this is what you are learning. You're learning how to be instead guided by ego distortions of humanity, by what your soul, what your spirit wants, what your soul wants, and like what feels right to you. Like, for example, you know, killing somebody with kindness when they're not treating you right, you know, might be really difficult to do, but that might be what feels right to you, where other people be like, just be petty, like do whatever you want. And so that's kind of where you're making that choice, like, oh, do I want to be petty and satisfy my ego? Because when you incarnate on Earth and you have a human brain and shit, then you automatically have ego, which makes your decisions a lot more difficult, and it distorts your perception. So to recognize that your spirit is also away from ego, when you're making choices, you can ask like your higher self or your star family or light to give you the answers of what feels right, because that will help you make choices that go beyond ego. But on the back of the deck, we have transcendence and gratitude. Transcend your mind's limitations and allow your soul's light to truly shine. Yeah, this is a big part of all of it, is transcendence and gratitude. Universal love shines through the miracles of life all around you. So pile 2, I'm going to leave this reading here. I'll do my spiel and then I'll show all the decks like I promised, but definitely let me know if you guys want to have a more in-depth starseed reading, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of struggled with this one only because, one, some of the decks I'm just like, I can't, like, I don't even know what that means, I gotta look. But 2, star energy is a weird energy to channel. It's a lot different than like your guides or spirit in general. It's a lot different. Like there's a difference between like high vibrational spiritual loving energy and like earthbounds or like ghost energy. Like that, those are 2 different energies. So like, I don't know, star energy is just so different, I can't even explain it, and it's very weird. So but I do need to challenge myself, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. But I hope that you enjoyed this overall, and I hope that it gave you some answers that you're looking for. Definitely let me know down in the comments how it resonates, and feel free to support other starseeds in the comments, other pyramid 2s. Maybe don't say, well, I guess I can't say that, that's unfair. Like, do whatever you want, I don't care. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching my ads. That is the simplest and easiest way to support me, so thank you so much for doing that. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you left a like. If you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribed and click that little bell notification to be notified whenever I upload a new video. For those of you who are already subscribed and have notifications on, make sure they're still on, because for some people, YouTube has been taking them off, so be aware of that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this. And if you want to check out my social media or my merch, that will be linked down below as well. But I will go ahead and show you the cards that I use now. So I used the Pleiadian Oracle here. I used, for these little tiny cards, the Star Seeds Wisdom for Spiritual Growth by Nari Anastasia. And we used another deck of hers in the beginning. This one and this one is the Cosmic Reading cards by her as well. Let's see, we also used the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, which was this deck. The tarot deck that I used is the Syrian Starseed Tarot. It's the biggest tarot deck I've ever used in my entire life, so be aware that the cards are big. And then finally, the last deck that I used was these smaller ones, and this comes from the Galactic Heritage Cards by Alyssa Royal Holt. So that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this gave you clarity or wisdom. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pyramid 3. If you guys chose this pyramid, this is going to be your reading from the heavens, except I'm a liar because for this pile, the collective that we are channeling is actually fairies, and they're technically not above us. They kind of coexist along with our world, but they're kind of like in their own dimension sort of thing. It's like if you could like if the earth was layers, like an onion, the fairy realm would be like a layer, I guess, but it's not necessarily always easy to see or recognize that it's there. From a human lens, I feel like Denzel Crocker right now going like, fairies! Like, I didn't think that fairies were real for a really long time, but I was proved wrong. So we're gonna be channeling the fairies for you guys. So this is the only pyramid where it's actually not coming from above. It's coming from like inside the house, but like not in a creepy way. But what we are going to do is, I was told to pull 3 of these cards, and then we'll get going and see what the fairies even want to talk to you about, and see what messages the fairies have for you. So fairies, what messages do you have for pile pyramid 3? Okay. Light the darkness, ancestors, ancestral line, generational shift. What else? Okay, we also have stardust, premonitions, galactic communications, beginnings and endings. And then finally, we have catch me, trust, surrender, leap of faith into the unknown. And one thing that I'm noticing is that we have 14 and 13. Oh, and on the back of the deck, I feel like I need to keep this. Golden gift, a magical help is on its way. Wow, okay. So I think for a lot of you, the fairies that are coming through are actually here to, 1, make you aware of their presence, and 2, to look at them the same way you would look at anything else. Like, for example, some of you in this pile may be starseeds. You may have like galactic connections as well. For others, I get the vibe that maybe, for example, if you have like Celtic ancestry, it doesn't have to be Celtic, but that's just the one that came to mind. Your ancestors, no matter what culture and lineage they may be from, they may have had more of a presence with the fairies. They may have had more of a like relationship with the fairies, and the fairies may be calling out to say, hey, we want to create more of a rapport with you, or want to maybe make our existence known to you, or make us aware to you. We'll go in deeper. I'm gonna use some fairy tarot cards to kind of clarify what their point of each of these is. But I do think one thing's for sure is that there are fairies that are around you that are helping you achieve your highest good. And I think for a lot of you, if you do anything that is positive for the environment, that is a big reason why. For others, it is an ancestral thing. But I also think that there's just a lack of people who even believe or acknowledge the existence of fairies. Now I'm hearing like Tinkerbell, like, you know, if you've seen like Peter Pan, and when Tinkerbell dies and then everybody believes in her, and then she lives. Dramatic queen, honestly. I wish that worked the same way. I want to be like on my deathbed and be like, only from compliments will you save me. So you better give me the best ones or I'm going to die. I just love that. Okay. Anyway, I definitely think that overall for some of you, this may be a matter of opening up to this fairy energy, but I feel like there's something that you've done, whether it's in your past, you made like fairy houses, or maybe that's something you do now. Maybe you had a connection to fairies when you were younger, but you didn't think that they were real, and so you just assumed that they were weird hallucinations that your young brain had. Could have been, but also could have not been. But I also think these fairies are here to tell you to like keep moving forward. And also, if for those of you specifically who resonate with being an environmental activist, or really focusing on like protecting the earth or forests, shout out to my vegans out there. Y'all are being vegans and vegetarians, but vegans as well, there's a harder emphasis on them. No shame, no hate or shame if you are a meat eater or eat whatever. There's nothing wrong. There's just a little shout out from the fairies to those people who do that. They're not saying that you have to do anything specifically. But one thing that I'm seeing is that part of the reason why you were brought to this reading also is because you hold fairy energy within you. And what I mean by that is that there's this serendipitous aspect of your soul that's very free and very fun, that knows how to look on the lighter side of life. And for some of you, you may not have much of that part of yourself anymore, maybe because of trauma, because of abuse, because of just people being straight up assholes to you, and you feel like you can't be yourself. And so I do think one reason why this fairy energy is coming through is to help you be lighter again, and to recognize that this light and loving energy, while it may not be supported by the physical human people around you, the fairies love it. And actually, one very specific message that I'm hearing, if anything happens to anyone who's like giving you problems or giving you a little bit of shit, if something happens where like they trip and like they're carrying a tray of food and like the food goes all over them, or like some kind of unfortunate event out of nowhere that looks like an accident happens to them, it may or may not be the fairies like showing you that they're on your side. But I'm gonna go ahead and clarify these with 2 tarot cards each. So can we clarify light and the darkness, please? Okay, we have the Emperor. And I was gonna use the back of the deck, but they told me not to. So, okay. What's the other card you want to use? The 2 of Swords. Okay. How about Stardust? I'm hearing Stargazing by Travis Scott. Okay. All right, we have 2. We have the Dreamer and we have the Lovers. Wow, okay, we have a lot of major arcanas here. Okay, and then finally, how about Catch Me? So we have the Knight of Wands and the 7 of Swords. Okay. Back of the deck energy overall is the 7 of Wands, and this actually is meant for you. And it says, be assertive, don't back down from what you believe, courageously stand up for yourself. So part of the fairies energy is, fairy energy is not the same thing as like spirit guide energy or angelic energy. It's more human in the sense that it can be trickster, it can be nefarious sometimes, it can be very loving and very kind. It's just that it depends on like the kind of fairies that are coming through and that are like wanting to interact with you. So the biggest thing that I would say if you chose this pile and you want to directly work with fairies, I would do some research first, especially depending on where you live, to see if there's any specific types of fae or anything like that are in your area, because that could be a huge help to you. If you're just here for the messages though, no worries, you don't have anything to worry about. We'll just relay the messages. But for some of you, I do feel like the fairies may be opening the doorway. Now I'm hearing Bob Dylan standing in the doorway. They might be trying to open up a dialogue with you, I guess, or trying to work with you. But for others, they're just giving you messages to be helpful. But let's start with light and the darkness. Something about what you're doing now is a karmic cycle that your ancestors have faced. And I don't mean that in a good way or bad way. I just mean that like, you know, things repeat themselves. And so a similar energy that you are in now, your ancestors were once in too. So like an example I can think of is maybe right now for some of you, you're in school and you're just really impatient and you're not really sure what you want to do with your life, but you're not really very happy with it. And you're not really sure what to do. Well, maybe your ancestor was in some type of apprenticeship where they didn't really like what they were doing and they weren't really sure what to do. That's just like an example. It doesn't have to be real, but the biggest vibe that I'm getting with your ancestor energy is, one, you're not defined by it. So just because you come from a long line of nurses, for example, doesn't mean that you by default have to be a nurse. Like if your ideal job is to be a race car driver, then you can go be a race car driver and then hopefully your family will come nurse you if you get it. Like, you know what I mean? You don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be doing anything you don't want to do just because like your family did it. That's silly. We have here, indecision is holding you back. Make the choice that's best for you rather than trying to please others, feeling trapped between the intellectual and the emotional. So for some of you, you may be struggling to logically wrap your mind around the things that fulfills your heart. So for example, it could be shit like fairies, or it could just be spiritual stuff in general, like tarot or divination. And I think the biggest thing that you need to know, and that the fairies want you to know, is that you're in control here. So you only have to believe whatever it is that you want. Nothing that you don't believe in, anything that you don't believe in cannot hurt you. Like, you're literally taking its power away by not even seeing it exist. So I think one thing that the fairies might be trying to tell you is to have more confidence in your ability to decide what feels right to you. And if something does feel right, great. And if something doesn't, you can discard it. I feel like you may be disempowering yourself by refusing to act because you're not sure what decision might be right, or you might be worried that other people won't agree with your decision. But what I'm hearing, the only right decision is the one that makes you happy and what works for you. And I think one thing that your fairies want you to know, and I said your fairies specifically, so I think all of you probably have fairies like either in specific places around, for some of you it's a childhood home, because for some of you, I'm getting the vibe that if you live, for example, like in a very industrial area and there's not really a lot of green, it could be a park that you visit a lot, that there could be like the fairies there. I think the hardest thing is that the presence of fairies has changed with like rapid industrialization. Like, you know, fairies don't want to vibe out in NYC. Like, there's just not much green there. Maybe Central Park and all the other parks. I know there's like a bazillion parks, but like, you know what I mean. They're going to be more so in nature areas. So one big message in general is to get out in nature. But your fairies are essentially asking you to take the lead in your own life and to not base all of your decisions on what your ancestors did or what your family thinks. You need to make decisions based on what's going to make you happy, because your ancestors, your family, they're not going to live your life for you. You're going to be the one that has to live your life. So it's really, really important that you make the decisions that are best for you, even if you're afraid of how people might react to them. There is a lot of mental energy here. And I think that one issue you may have is that for some of you, you may look at like what your ancestors achieved and think that you'll never be able to live up to that. And I think one thing your fairies are asking you to do is to stop expecting yourself to live up to it, and instead allow yourself to just carry out whatever it is that you want in life, to just see what happens. But one thing that I'm seeing here with Catch Me, Trust, Surrender, Leap of Faith into the Unknown, don't tell everybody your plans. Don't let everybody know what's going on. Because with the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Wands, I think that people, out of love and kindness, may try to talk you down from what you're doing. And the thing is, though, is by the time you're ready to do it, you're going to reach a decision that, like, you're going to do this no matter what. Nothing's going to stop you. So if you tell people about it and then they, like, say things that they're like, oh, are you sure this is a good idea? And maybe it comes from a place of love and compassion, but it kind of seems like they will not, they'll just kind of like make it scarier for you to take that leap of faith. Like, you don't need anybody else's faith in you besides your own. But the fairies are saying that they're here to help you as well. And they're here to like assist you if you need their help. yeah, like with this golden gift, for some of you, like if you've ever left an offering to like nature spirits or fairies or anything like that, this is a way to confirm that there's reciprocity there, and also that the fairies want to help you. But the kinder you are and more respectful you are to nature, the more the fairies are just going to want to help you naturally. But if you kind of have like a fun, jovial, playful side to you, they really love that too. So yeah, honestly, like this Knight of Wands energy: charming, self-confident, passionate, restless, immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage. And I think that this is your fairy's way of saying, trust us, we've got you. Well, more so trust your own. I wouldn't say with fairies, I wouldn't always be discerning when it comes to fairies, but you can trust yourself. That's the biggest thing. You can trust yourself. Spirit has you. The fairies want to help you, which is amazing. And there's a lot of spiritual energy coming your way. Crows, I think, could be a sign that you're on the right path, by the way. But with the Fool, with Stardust here, endings and beginnings, I think what's really interesting, premonition, galactic communications, with the Fool and the Lovers. For a lot of you, this could be something related to love. You could be meeting somebody soon, or somebody could be coming back in soon that is a past life connection, is someone that you have a galactic connection with, somebody that this is not your first rodeo around living, I guess. I wasn't gonna say Earth because this is galactic, but this doesn't have to be about love. This could also just literally be about like choosing to follow what's right for you and allowing yourself to have that new start. Because with beginnings and endings, you may be getting ready to start a new beginning, and I think that one thing your fairies are saying is that you don't want this new beginning to repeat the same cycle that you're closing out. So make sure you do things differently than you did originally. So if this cycle was not a good cycle for you, ask yourself what decisions you made to lead up to that point. Because one, you might have starseed family trying to call to you, trying to get your attention. If that's the case, then spoiler alert, you may want to check out one of the different piles if you felt drawn to it, but I'm not going to tell you which one because I want you to find it on your own. But that might be helpful. But I think that you're kind of getting to a point where you're figuring out what you're meant to do in life, or you're realizing that maybe there's more than one path for you, and that you maybe would be happier taking a sharp left and doing something a bit different. I think what the fairies want you to know is that if you are just approaching this situation or this path in your life or whatever it may be, if you approach it with a playful attitude of like, let's just see what happens, and like, I know no matter what, everything will be okay. One affirmation that I just personally say to myself all the time is everything is working out in my favor. So you should definitely say that to yourself. Just be like, everything is working out in my favor. Affirm that shit for yourself. But the point of what I was trying to make before I said that was make your choices based on what's going to make you happy, what's going to make you feel light. You know, this says true love that is long lasting, choices made from the heart, a return to good health. So for some of you, this could be an opportunity, a second leg in life for some of you. Spirit is really asking you, this is more so spirit, less than the fairies, but spirit is really asking you to take this. For some of you, this is a second chance. For some of you, this is a new beginning. For some of you, this is just a beginning in general. Take this opportunity to start out strong and start the way you want to, and commit to doing things differently than you did the first time. Because I think maybe in your family, maybe it's really common to do what's logical and what's right in that way. And the fairies and your guides and spirit is literally saying, well, your guides are part of spirit, but they're essentially saying, like, you know your path better than your ancestors do, better than your family does. You need to trust what's right for you. And I think that if you have been acting in a way that has been strictly logical, that has been what makes the most sense, and you've been brought to this point and you're still not satisfied, maybe it is truly time to try something different and to see what's up, try something new. Because I think that you're ready for it. I think what you need to realize, though, is that not everybody is going to understand you, and you just don't need to tell everyone, like, what's going on. But, I mean, with the Seven of Spring on the back of the deck and the Two of Cups, the Eight of Swords. So for some of you, this could be related to a love situation, which I was already talking about. And if that is the case, I would say that you and this person, you're either going to meet this person soon, and all of the the steps that you're taking are getting you there to meet this person. For others, this person could be somebody that you're in separation with. But I think one thing that Spirit is saying, and that your fairies are saying as well, is that if you truly want this to come to fruition, you cannot base your actions based on what outcome you think will bring you two together. You can't be basing your decisions on what you think will be the most likely outcome for you two to end up together. But be assertive with what you want. But what Spirit is saying is, instead of thinking what situation might lead me and this person back together, you need to be thinking about what's going to make me happiest, what's going to fulfill me and satisfy me. Because you have the ability to cultivate and attract this person, but you don't need to worry about those minute details. You don't need to worry about all that shit. Your guides, Spirit's got that covered. Your fairies want you to get grounded and recognize that you're not doing the work of a human and a spirit guide together. You are a human. Allow your guides to do the external work for you. All your guides need you to do is to focus on what makes you happy, to focus on being lighter. And truthfully, it's like you need to start believing in yourself and recognize that you can cultivate this shit. Like whatever this shit is to you, like if it's a relationship, if it's a lifestyle, whatever it may be, you can cultivate it. I mean, if you believe that you and a person are meant to be together, claim that, trust it, and keep moving forward. Don't keep checking in with Spirit and be like, it's like the equivalent of if you're at a restaurant and you order something and then you go back in the kitchen while they're cooking it and being like, hey, so I just wanted to make sure that you know that I wanted this meal. Like the chef's gonna look at you like you're insane. They're like, I have the meal ticket. Like go back. Like you're not supposed to be back here. This is unsanitary. What are you doing in my kitchen? Like get out. Oh, wow. This is a really fully fledged situation, isn't it? Because we also have the Two of Cups underneath the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Swords. You have what it takes if you only believe in yourself. Thinking that you're powerless when you're not. A lack of self-confidence that keeps you from getting what you want. Yeah. This is essentially your guides and the fairies saying that you need to have more confidence in yourself. The fun thing about fairies is that they'll show you that you need to have more confidence in yourself in like honestly kind of embarrassing ways. And I said fun sarcastically. So the fairies are saying we'll intervene if you aren't careful, because I think your fairies really want the best for you. But the ways that fairies go about things sometimes can be a little bit hectic. So they're kind of saying like, look, we can step in if you want to, but I think you're better leaving that up to your guides right now. Like we're here to help you. We want to help you. Call on us and we're here for you, but just be aware that like fairy help is different from like spirit guide help. It's not necessarily always rooted in that same energy of unconditional love, if that makes sense. With your guides it absolutely is, but with fairies it's different. But I mean, if you're working with fairies, if you're knowing what you're doing, then you should be fine. But if you've never worked with fairies before and you want to, please do your research first, because you might be working with something and you don't even know what it is. And yeah, I just be careful. I guess that's all I'm going to say. But let's get some deeper advice now and see what else they want to say to you. Because really, I think the biggest thing is that you need to embody this fairy energy. You need to be lighter on your feet. You need to let yourself have more fun and just play. And who gives a shit if your family thinks that you need to be more serious? Like, don't let them know that you're out vibing. Tell them you're out studying. You know what I mean? Like, they don't need to know the truth. Like, you're following your path and you're doing what you need to do. Do what you need to do to get the people that stress you out off your back. Like, that's kind of the nice thing about fairy energy too, is it's not necessarily the most morally righteous. So they're kind of in your corner saying, listen, if you gotta be a little quiet about what you're doing, if you gotta be a little under the radar on the DL about what you're doing, that's okay. Like, you don't have to air it out. You don't need anyone's support but your own. If you want to do it, you should do it. Otherwise, who cares? Okay. So we have manifestation. Be very honest about what you wish to manifest in your life. Now write it down on paper. Manifestation step 1. We also have find balance. Find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. If you can take a power nap, I commend you, but my naps are like at least 6 hours, so I can't do that. We also have pure intention. The fairy of manifestation will help you to use your wishes wisely. Manifest your heart's desire with pure intention and for the highest good of all. Yeah, so I think just be careful, like, if you're manifesting something and you want something on the side, like, I don't know, just, I guess I wanted to rephrase that message. When it comes to manifesting, you want to make sure your intentions are pure. And by that, I mean what this card says, and also that it's not like a selfish thing, like you're manifesting a relationship because you want a specific person. Instead, the purest intention would be like manifesting the truest love, or manifesting, like, for example, if you have a soul connection, manifesting a soulmate, manifesting that, like manifesting like that true love and things of that nature. But we also have new beginnings. This fairy godmother heralds the joyous news of a new baby. Ooh. For some of you, you're like, what? This is a metaphorical baby for a lot of you. But for some of you, it could be a real baby. In that case, congrats. Happy for you. Hope everything works okay there. We're sending peace and love to you and that baby. Or the birth of a cherished idea. Protect and nurture your ideas as you would a baby. So that's kind of similar with this protect and nurture your ideas. Part of protecting and nurturing your ideas is not telling the entire world about them. And I know that might be hard sometimes because you might get excited about things, but people kind of are really good at shitting all over everything that you like and enjoy. So if you want to stay excited about something, keep it on the DL, because people will just rain on your parade. Absolutely. We also have purity. Always trust in the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart, and within it you will find the answer to your question. So yeah, as long as you manifest things with a pure heart, that's kind of what this new beginning is about. Choices made from the heart. Embrace your true purpose. Begin a new adventure. Trust yourself. This is all about following your heart. And your fairies want that for you. Like, they want you to follow a life that's full of whimsy and love and passion and excitement. And I think one thing, like, the reason why fairies are less prevalent is because, first of all, like I said earlier, you know, we live in a much more industrial world than we once did, and we're a lot less connected to nature. But they're still there, just a lot less there than maybe they once were back when your ancestors were around. But that's because they're contacted less and interacted with less. And so I think that if you're always, especially if you want to, I don't want to make you, like, afraid of working with fairies. I just personally, like, don't really work with fairies because, like, you know, sometimes they're a little bit difficult. Like, I'm happy to vibe with them outside or whatever. Like, they come through and they want to let me know something. But, like, I'm maybe more stick to, like, my guides and deities and things. So it's just because, like, they can be a little bit, they don't come from that same place of unconditional love. And so for me, I'm like, listen, I get tired a lot. I don't want to necessarily work with something and then make a mistake. So that's more of a precautionary thing for me, as, like, I'm an energy worker and it's, like, important for me to be in a good place in order to do my job. But, like, for you, you know, if you feel called to do it and explore it, you really should. And I think that if you have pure intentions and you're respectful and you're just kind of open to whatever may come through, I think that you could have a really good, really positive experience. And I think that the fairies already want to pay it back in some way. And I think that that message is specifically for those of you who have been doing any action, even the smallest action, to help the environment in some way. There's a lot about environmental protection here. Let's see, what other guidance do you have for pile 3? Okay, well, we're going to take passion. Passion is an inner flame that will keep you striving towards your vision. So yeah, they want you to have passion. They also have creativity. Allow your creative spark to work magic. What else? We have choice. You're in control of the choices set before you. So yeah, your fairies are asking you to be very cognizant of the fact that you are in control, and that it does seem like it'll be more helpful for you to make choices from the heart. We also have euphoria. Euphoria will amplify your awareness of the beauty that life has to offer. And finally, we have intuition. Intuition is the ability to listen to your higher self. So if you also want to hear messages from your higher self, spoiler alert, you might want to check out a different pile if you feel drawn to it. But yeah, your fairies are literally saying, like, you can trust your gut on this. Don't make the same decisions that got you to the point where you are now if you're not satisfied with where you're at now, or you're not satisfied with how this cycle played out. Your fairies want you to live the life of your dreams. Dreams see the possible pathways of a future that act as a roadmap for actions. Your fairies want you to pay attention and be aware of your dreams and trust that they're not there to make you sad that you can't achieve them, but in fact that they're there because maybe you can, or maybe there is a way to bring this dream to life. So they want you to understand that you have more power than you realize, and that honestly one of the most difficult things is navigating your own brain and retraining yourself to make decisions based on intuition rather than action, or rather than logic or action. Now, like, there are times and places for different uses. Like, you know, this balance card, for example, like if you're in a math class, you're probably going to want to use logic. Like, I tried to do math intuitively, and that's why I was bad at it. Like, you can't really use your intuition with like algebra or geometry or shit like that. But when it comes to major life decisions that you want to follow, basing them logically is probably going to make you do something safe that's not very enjoyable. Whereas your heart's like, go crazy, man. Go wild. Let's just see where it goes. And that's kind of the energy you want to be in. Obviously, you want to be safe, but overall, I think that you're more than equipped to follow. For all of you, like, these new beginnings are going to be different, which is why I'm being so vague right now. But I think what you need to understand is that, like, maybe for some of you, it's a matter of reconnecting with your fairies. Reconnect. Secrets lurk in the captive shadows deep in the woods. So for some of you, there could just be inspiration in nature. There may be a need for you to reconnect with nature, a need for you to ground. But your fairies really, like, want you to know that, like, this is your time to shine. This is your time to follow what makes you happy. And for all of you, that's going to be at a different time. But I'm called... The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I think your fairies are asking you to analyze where you've been making the same decisions and expecting different results, and look there, because there's where you need to change your actions. We also have trust. The robin trusts her wings, not the branch she sits on. And I love that because it's so similar to this card, and your fairies are really saying, like, you can trust yourself to make this decision. Like, you got this. Like, you really do. We also have resilient. Stay as strong as the evergreen trees. And on the back of the deck, we have uncertainty. The shades of gray within the fog will eventually lift. And so this is kind of like where you need to take action before it even makes sense. And let go. Enjoy the pulsing light of the firefly, but don't hold on too tight. So part of manifesting is letting go, but also, you know, trying not to hold on to, like, the universe with an iron grip. And so I think what your fairies are really saying is it's time to, at the very least, just go after what it is that you're wanting. It seems like things are opening up and starting a cycle for you to manifest or create the life that you want, the career that you want, the love that you want, the job that you want, whatever the hell it is. Could be many things, could be a lot of things, could be one thing. No matter what it is, though, they're trying to get you to understand that you know the way better than anyone else does. And you don't need to tell anyone how you're getting there or what you're doing. In fact, the more you leave it up to just follow your heart and see what happens, the better outcome you're creating for yourself. Your fairies don't want you to have these grandiose expectations of things that you need to do or achieve, but to just instead go after what your heart wants and see where it ends up, and trust that your guides, the fairies, are not doing this to set you up for failure. They're doing this because they want you to live the life that you want. They want you to be happy. And this kind of goes deeper into more soul things. And I think that actually the biggest thing that you need is grounding and, like, playful energy that's just not so rigid and logical and, like, blah, you know. you need energy that's not so bureaucratic. Like, ugh, like, you know, we don't need no bureaucracy here. All we need is, you know, fairies and shit. So yeah, I think the fairies just want you to know that you're doing amazing, but that make sure you're manifesting from the right intentions. Make sure to kind of balance your perspective and make sure you're not falling back into old patterns that are causing you to create an outcome that you don't want. Be mindful of your choices. Be mindful of the fact that you are just as deserving as anyone else of happiness and a good life. And trust that if you're assertive and it's something that you want and you won't back down, you will get it. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for you want and stand up for what you want, and everything will turn out amazing. So pile 3, I'm going to show you guys the cards that I use because I'm not listing them in the description. But before I do that, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching my ads. That is the simplest and easiest way to support me. So thank you so much to everybody who does that. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you left a like. If you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribed. If you're already subscribed and you have notifications on, make sure you check and see if they're still turned on, because for some people, YouTube has been turning them off. If you want to support me in other ways, you can check out my merch, will be linked below, as well as my different social medias. But yeah, I think that is all I have. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, and now I'll go through all the cards that I used. So these little tiny ones are the Whispering Woods cards by Jessica Lee or Lay. Let's see. We have these little cards come in this big ass box. The Fairy Guidance Oracle by Polly Faye. I don't know why that made me think of Polly Shore. I was like, this is definitely not Polly Shore. Okay, where are the other? Oh, okay, so we also have the tarot cards are these Fairy Tarot cards by Radley Valentine. And then these cards are the Oracle of the Fairies by Karen Kay. And then finally, the very first fairy tarot deck that we used comes from the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. So those are the cards I used. I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to check out a different pile, please feel free to. But yeah, I'm going to leave things here. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, Pyramid 4. If you guys chose the last pyramid, you may be able to guess what collective we are channeling, but in case you can't, this pyramid actually represents the archangels, and so we are going to be channeling not only the archangels, but also your guardian angels. Your guardian angels could be these archangels or specific guardian angels to you. So essentially what I am going to do is I'm going to pull 3 archangels, and we'll see with this pile like what they want to talk about for each, and then we will get deeper messages from each of them, and then we'll also get some channeled messages specifically from your guardian angels, so you should get a little mix of both. But we're gonna go ahead and start. And also I should mention all of the decks that I'm using in this video, I'm going to show you them at the very end of the reading. I'm not going to be putting them in the description box because I'm using different cards for every single pile, and I just don't want to type all that out. So be aware of that. Okay, so what are the archangels that want to come through today for our 4th pile? What messages do you have? Okay, we have Archangel Raphael, Celestial Healing. Excellent. Archangel for healing the heart. We love to see it. Welcome, Raphael. We also have Archangel Jophiel. We have Illumination, Creativity, and what I think is supposed to say authenticity, but it just says authentic. And one more, please. What is another Archangel that would like to come through for us, Spirit? The Angelic Light Body. Okay, this is supposed to be in that, so no. Peace and love, no. I need a real Archangel. Well, okay, now there's 2 okay, so we're gonna take both then. All right. No, there's 3 in there. All right, we're doing 5. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you down like that. All right, so, okay. Wow, okay. We have a lot of messages coming through. Okay, so we have Archangel Raphael. We have Archangel Jophiel. We have Archangel Michael. Big fan. Huge fan of all of these. Excited to have y'all here. We also have Archangel Oriphiel, the wild within. And finally, Archangel Uriel, divine wisdom. Okay, so then if that's the case, with the angelic light body coming out, I think that's a specific message for some of you that you may have the ability to channel angelic collectives. Truthfully, I saved the angel pile for last because I was like, oh, save the best for last. Not because I think that like they're literally the best. They're just my favorite to channel. And they're the most energizing for me to channel. So I was like, it'll be good for me to save it until like the end. But yeah, I just think angels and archangels are pretty badass. So if you wanted to look into that, definitely do so. I mean, archangels and angels in general are unconditionally loving, and they're kind of the same thing as spirit guides, maybe a little bit more higher power, because they, you know, these are heavy lifters. These are really heavy spiritual lifters. But let's see. Archangel Raphael, what do you want to talk to Pile for about, please? Okay, we have the green spectrum, so that's definitely about the heart chakra. Okay. Archangel Jophiel, what do you want to talk about, please? Okay, we have the blue spectrum, so this could be about communication, the throat chakra, things of that nature. I already like how visually pleasing this is. Okay, Archangel Michael, what about you? What do you want to talk about? Ooh, we have the magenta spectrum. I spoke too soon. Okay, how about Oriphiel, please? Okay, we have the violet spectrum. And then finally, Archangel Uriel, please, what do you want to talk about? Angelic light body. Okay, so that did want to come out. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So let's go ahead and get into it. While I'm going through them, I'm going to use the book just to make sure I don't miss anything. But okay, so Archangel Raphael is all about healing. So this angel is coming through not only for heart healing, but mostly heart healing. Healing in general, but heart healing specifically. Let's see what spectrums, because yeah, these like spectrums are kind of unique. So love, kindness, compassion, wonderment, altruism, connectedness, that is what Archangel Raphael is coming through with. I think that meant to say altruism. And then the blue spectrum is inner authority, honesty, integrity, peace, gentleness with strength. The magenta spectrum I already know is about unconditional love. Then what about the violet spectrum? Gateway openings, time and space realities, ascension, web of consciousness, synchronicity, and then angelic light body is the one that like gets me. So here it says the first level is acknowledgement of quickening. I've never heard of that before. To know the essence of self connected by the thread of our golden center, being in this space requires awareness to the subtleties of source. Also comes the ability to see the synchronicity showing us the way forward. Okay, all right, I've got this. So you've got 5 archangels coming through. And if there's any you don't connect to, I would say there's more than less coming through because there's only one pile with angels, and the angels that are coming through have a lot to say. So Archangel Raphael is here for a very specific message, very specific purpose. They are here to heal your heart. And so anytime, one thing I want to say about angelic energy is it's not going to divinely intervene. That's typically more your guides, and they only do that as like a last ditch effort, or it's kind of like created to be intervened. Anyway, with angels, you have to ask for help. And so Archangel Raphael is coming through, 1, to help heal your heart, and 2, call on this angel when people are testing your patience. When you're like this close to snapping and you just like want to say something, you want to give somebody a piece of your mind, Archangel Raphael is here to kind of cool you down and give you a reminder of your loving energy and the fact that ask yourself, what would love do? And if you don't know what love would do, ask Archangel Raphael. They are here to literally help you with anything that comes to love and comes to healing your own heart space. So I would say the fact that Archangel Raphael came out first, that is the one that, like, first and foremost, you want to be aware of. This is a message for everyone. Like, I don't care if you've never heard of Archangel Raphael. Every single person that clicked on this reading needs heart healing of some kind. And like, it may be old, it may be something that like you don't need in the second, but you might maybe need it in the future. And I don't mean that like you're gonna get your heart broken or something. I just mean like we can all use a little more heart healing. I know I could. So I'll call on him right now. Hey, Archangel Raphael, can you please like shower me with some love and shower whoever is watching this with some love? Like, I don't know about y'all, but like I felt it. I'm also like, even just saying it like that. Thank you, by the way. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Love you. Like, I don't know why. I think I'm really awkward and weird, just like no matter what. So naturally I'm that way with any like spiritual entities that I'm talking to. So, yeah, even my prayers are just like, hey, I'm kind of struggling. Can you help me? I'd be like super appreciative of it. It doesn't have to be this whole like ritual. Like, you can literally just say out loud, like, hey, Archangel Raphael, I'm really struggling right now. Like, could you send me some love? Like, that'd be really helpful. Or like, can you just help me and say thanks? Like, honestly, I actually got this download from my guides, and I'm gonna give it to you guys. So take with it what you will. You don't have to agree with it. But when my guides were talking to me, they were asking me to stop looking at them as like an authority over my life, because they're not an authority. I can ignore them. I can pretend like they don't exist. And so they were kind of telling me, like, stop looking at us like we're just going to, you know, yell at you if you do something wrong or be disappointed in you. Like, we love you unconditionally. You can't disappoint us. Like, all we want is the best for you. You can't look at us like we're an authority, because I have a fear of authority. That's why. Childhood thing, I'm healing, you know, you might be in the same boat. And so if you have a fear of authority, I think your angels are asking you to not look at them as an authority either, but instead as a friend. And because my guide said, treat us like we're your friends. And I was kind of confused. I was like, well, aren't I supposed to be like, you know, really super respectful and like over the top? And they were like, well, don't you treat your friends with respect? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, just treat us the way you would treat a friend. And I was like, wow, that's really true. Like, yeah, like I want to, you know, obviously be respectful to my friends, you know, express gratitude to them, things of that nature, but I'm not gonna like literally roll out the red carpet for my friends every single day and like be overcompensating and not care or worry about my needs. So essentially that whole long-winded spiel was a way of me saying to be less intimidated by archangel energy, because it's literally so loving and it is happy to give anytime you ask. Angels are not the same things as humans. Like, they don't, like, it may be hard to wrap your brain around the idea that an angel can be helping like thousands, if not like hundreds of thousands, millions of people all at once. But that is the power of angels. And what you need to understand about spiritual energy in general is that, like, in the spirit realm, unconditional love is omnipresent. It's just there. It exists. So angels and like your guides, they don't have to like make unconditional love to send it to you. It's like, if they could literally grab oxygen and hand it to you, it's like that. Like, that is how present unconditional love is. And one thing your archangels want you to understand is that you're not asking for too much by just asking for anything. In fact, they want you to ask for more and to call on them more, because they're more than happy to help you, but they're not going to intervene unless you ask. So when it comes to Archangel Jophiel wants to help you with your creativity. They want to help you with communicating your ideas, with following what is authentic to your own creative inspiration, while at the same time acting in ways with integrity when it comes to your creative abilities. So doing things that feel right to you and not succumbing to the pressure of others. Like, if others want you to do something that goes against your artistic integrity or does something that makes you uncomfortable. Archangel Jophiel is asking you, like, if you have, like, for example, writer's block, or you're not feeling very creative, or you feel stuck because maybe you have a job opportunity, but like the job itself for example, is something that doesn't align with your values or morals and isn't something you want to do. So you may be like praying for answers. Archangel Jophiel is happy to do that. You can pray to him to help clear your throat chakra, to clear your mind in general when it's racing. Archangel Jophiel is really here to help illuminate things, not only within you, but in your outside world as well. And they're going to do that through like creativity, through little subtle signs, and through you. Archangel Jophiel is going to throw signs your way when you're following what makes you authentically happy and what feels right for you. So let's say you have a day where you're just doing whatever the hell you feel like. You're going to get synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity from Archangel Jophiel if you're asking for it, maybe even if you're not asking for it, because you're following what's authentic to you. Now, if you had a day where you have to go to some shitty job that you don't like, and then you have to go hang out with a friend because you promised even though you would rather not want to, or you're just like, doing everything that's not really authentic to you in a day, you may feel less connected to this angel. So maybe during those times you might want to pray to Archangel Jophiel and say, hey, I'm feeling lost for myself. Like, can you help shine a light on my own inner authentic truth? Can you help redirect me to the truth? Can you remind me of like my truth? And that is what this archangel wants you to know and wants to help you with. Moving forward to Archangel Michael, we know, a lot of us already know and love Archangel Michael. He is a great, great angel to kind of have when it comes to protecting you, when it comes to giving you strength, when it comes to giving you courage, for example. I like to think of Archangel Michael as like, kind of like your angelic bodyguard, but also, just a loving presence that's there to help and encourage and motivate you. And the fact that Archangel Michael is coming through with the magenta spectrum, this is all about unconditional love. So the biggest thing that Archangel Michael is saying is that the best thing that you can do in terms of your own protection, even if you're not calling on archangels, is to ground and protect your energy and understand the energy of unconditional love. That usually comes through grounding and protecting, because you can feel the love of the planet and also like the love of spirit. But one of the biggest things that protects you energetically, we're not talking physically, we're talking energetically, especially from psychic attacks and things like that, is the ability to stay in the energy of love. And that doesn't mean it has to be love for others, but just love in general, understanding what that love of self is like. So this isn't me saying you need to love yourself to protect yourself. I'm saying the more you understand the energy of love and self-love. So like, for example, let's say you're having a long day, and you probably should do the dishes, but you're absolutely exhausted and you really need sleep because you have a big meeting tomorrow. The loving part of you would probably say, the dishes are going to be there in the morning. Is it really that catastrophic if we leave them there until tomorrow? If you have to talk to roommates or something like that, whatever. But that in that instance, asking what would love do, love would be nurturing and say, hey, go to sleep. Like, your basic needs matter. Like, the dishes will be there tomorrow. Like, if they really need done, like, that'll be okay. So that was kind of a micro example, but it's kind of just like asking yourself in the moment when you're doing things, what would be the most loving action to take towards myself? Which option is more loving and honoring towards myself and my needs? I think that is kind of what Archangel Michael is trying to get you to understand. But also on a literal level, Archangel Michael wants you to know that he wants to protect you. So ask for his protection literally whenever, when you're walking home, when you're on public transit, when you're driving a car or a passenger in a car, especially anything related to transportation. I think that is a great time to call upon him and ask him to just kind of make sure everything is protected and keep you protected. But you can also call upon him to cut any cords. So for example, there may be people in your life or from your past that out of love for yourself, you distanced or separated yourself from. So you could ask, if you find that their energy still comes through or you struggle with that, you can ask Archangel Michael to cut those cords so that you don't have to deal with that energy anymore. So Archangel Michael's got a lot of things that he's willing to help you with. Let's move forward to Archangel Oriphiel. So Archangel Oriphiel talks about the wild within. And Archangel Oriphiel is essentially here to help you. Well, Jophiel is here to help illuminate what's within, but Oriphiel is here to help you embrace the wild aspects of your nature. Because with the violet spectrum here, part of your ascension is integrating your inner child with your current purpose or what you're doing now. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your inner child, but it's like a combination of like your inner child, your inner dreams and desires, and the parts of your soul. Some of you have like your like lifetimes, you go back really, really far. And for some of you, you've definitely had past lives in like tribal communities where things were very wild, in the sense that like there wasn't really an industrialized society yet. You probably like lived off the land and were maybe very close to the elements and things like that. Obviously, it depends on like what culture you were and things of that nature. You could have been many different cultures. That would depend like maybe what deities or what specific things you feel connected to. But if there's, for example, any tribal energies that you feel connected to, or maybe you have lineage from a certain tribe, whatever that may be, I think Archangel Orifiel could help you uncover layers of your soul that have had those experiences. So you could ask him to just like kind of help you, like help give you information or guide you to the right information. But also, you can pray to him for support when you need that encouragement to be your wild self. Because what I'm seeing here is part of your healing and part of your integration, like on your purpose, is to kind of embrace these wild parts of yourself that maybe you try to subdue. Like there are parts of you that are willing to, for some of you, for example, pop off and like tell someone off. And so instead of maybe doing that in like a way that's less productive, maybe popping off on yourself and being like, I need to do XYZ, or popping off in a positive way where if somebody's telling you that they want you to do something or something like that, you could be like, I can't, I've got XYZ to do, sorry. It's almost like standing up for yourself and kind of more of this Archangel Michael energy. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything with Archangel Orifiel, because I'm less familiar with him. Travel the road less walked, step out of your comfort zone and embrace the wilderness inside. Be brave to see what's around the corner, make your own rules, question everything, and create your own program. So yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to drop that so aggressively. Part of your journey, part of your purpose is to break out of convention. So yeah, so maybe a lot of you do have a fear of authority like I was talking about earlier. And so part of your ascension is saying, oh, I just heard Megan Thee Stallion, fuck being good, I'm a bad bitch. I'm sick of motherfuckers trying to tell me how to live. That is your motto. You're a bad bitch. I don't care what your gender identity is. You're a bad bitch. Get over it. And like Archangel Orifiel is here to help you be that bitch and to follow what your own internal guidance is saying and not what the external society is telling you. I mean, obviously, like there's natural things like, you know, don't break the law, things of that nature. Unless the law is stupid and you don't get caught. You didn't hear that from me. But I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying. I know some of you were thinking it. That's pretty wild of you. Yeah, but seriously, don't do anything reckless and don't get arrested. Because I'm not responsible for anything. So, but I mean, this is less so anything to do with that. And I was just kind of being jokey there. Because there are always people, I feel like there are always people in the comments, like I'll say one thing and they'll be like, well, technically blah 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 blah, and it's like, okay, but anybody who has like a rational brain would know not to go to that extreme. But now I feel like I have to speak on those extremes so that people don't think I'm saying that. But anyway, your ascension is quite literally all about you embracing these wild aspects of you and you not caring what other people think of that, whether they don't approve or whether they think you're insane. That's not your problem. Your problem is that you need to stop forcing yourself to fit in or forcing yourself to follow a way of life or to follow a certain habit or behavior that doesn't align with who you are. Because I think overall, if you chose this pile, I would say you're probably more spiritual than the other piles. And I don't mean that in like a better way or another. Like that's better or it's worse. It's not anything. If you pick this pile and you're not spiritual at all, that's totally fine, because I think that angelic energy could be your introduction to spirituality. But I think that for a lot of you, your angels want you to channel them. With this angelic light body and Archangel Uriel coming out under divine wisdom, Archangel Uriel is the angel of divine wisdom here in this deck. And so I think Archangel Uriel could be an excellent communicative angel to help give you wisdom about your soul, where your path is headed, universal truth. You could ask lots of different questions there. But I think the biggest questions you want to ask Archangel Uriel and Jophiel is questions in regards to your creativity, maybe moves you should make, especially if you're an entrepreneur, things like that. Channeling them could be really helpful. But with this angelic light body, I think if you've never channeled an archangel before, Archangel Uriel is the one that you're going to want to start with. And if I'm thinking correctly, in a different deck, there's like a blue energy oracle deck. And in that deck, Archangel Uriel, I believe, is either also orange or purple. It either represents the second chakra or the crown chakra. So I think there's a lot about passion, creativity, and purpose. And I think if there's like hobbies or skills that you feel like particularly drawn to or that you're just naturally good at, it's possible that you've had more than one lifetime like following that passion or that ability. And that's why that energy is coming through so strongly, or that's why you're so connected to it. Sorry, I've been channeling for a hot sec, so now my brain is getting somewhat fried, but we're good, we're fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna channel a message from each of them using these tarot cards. So Archangel Raphael, what message do you have for pile 4, please? Thank you. Okay, we have Messenger of Thought. A new topic or intellectual project is really exciting for you. There is so much to learn before you may feel ready to move forward. New information may require changes to your plans. Review all documents carefully. You know will meet or are someone who loves to learn and share knowledge. This person is brilliant, truthful, but also blunt and not very diplomatic. So maybe part of your heart healing involved could be with a person like this. But I think the biggest thing is that there may be a topic that you're interested in pursuing further or learning more about. And the topic itself may be somewhat triggering. So maybe that's why heart healing needs to come through. Let me get all of them and then, oh. Spirit's asking me to just go them down the line. So, okay, so Jophiel says choose freedom. Sometimes you may feel as though your way is blocked, but that's often just an illusion. You could free yourself from the obstacles that you're so focused on by choosing a different path. Turn your thoughts away from negativity and instead envision endless other possibilities you might act upon. So yeah, Archangel Jophiel can illuminate your shadows. So you can ask him, if you're doing shadow work, ask him to illuminate the truth of your shadows. This is the Devil card. This is the Knight of Swords, by the way. I also think, one specific message not related to the words on the cards, but related to Archangel Raphael. This is the message that was not. This is what he wanted to say. You will get confirmation. If you ask Archangel Raphael for help, you will get a confirmation like lightning fast, or you will feel his energy around you like almost instantaneously. Like, you know, in a typical Rider-Waite, the Knight of Swords is riding really fast and it's like really, really quick. So that is how quickly not only does Archangel Raphael hear you and able to understand what you're saying, but that's also how quickly he can respond. And so you'll honestly be surprised. I think the biggest thing when it comes to praying to Archangel Raphael is like he gives like feelings of comfort, feelings of peace, feelings of like everything's gonna be okay. And so just by praying and asking for that help, it will come quicker than you realize. It's actually pretty wild. So Archangel Michael says, Archangel Michael's message is the 3 of Cups. Wonderful news is on its way. Announcements regarding engagements, pregnancies, births, or graduations will be revealed. New friends will be made, or communities of like-minded people will draw closer to one another. Exciting new beginnings or happy endings are just around the corner. And so one thing that I think is beautiful about this is that I think that for some of you, You may be inviting in new people into your life, or are just ready to attract the people that are in alignment with you. And Archangel Michael is saying that not only will he protect you from people that are nefarious or don't have good intentions, but also he's saying the more you live in that unconditionally loving energy, the easier you can attract these types of people without even needing to worry about Archangel Michael protecting you. But at the end of the day, like, if you're afraid if somebody doesn't have the best intentions with you, or you feel like you can't trust somebody, you can pray to Archangel Michael for answers, but you can also pray to Archangel Michael if you just want to get that person out of your life. You can pray to him for help with that as well. And then with Archangel Orifiel, oh my gosh, I love this. We have the Six of Wands. What a wonderful experience for you. Your project is a total success, bringing awards, promotions, or other recognition for your efforts. Well done. If someone who can help you offers assistance, know that this person is heaven sent and say yes. So that would be Orifiel helping you as well. But this card is all about victory. And so with the violet spectrum being about ascension and new levels of consciousness and understanding, I love that it's even purple, that it like fits in with all of this. What Archangel Orifiel wants you to know is that by becoming the person that asks for forgiveness rather than permission, a lot of, obviously not in like certain ways, and you know what I mean, but like in other ways where it's a risk and you don't know if someone's gonna approve something or not, and you just kind of want to like prove yourself, maybe those are times where you want to risk it for the biscuit a little bit. Because I almost feel like being riskier could be helpful. Obviously not like life risking things, like your angels wouldn't be talking about that. But I think that in approaching life differently and approaching life from a more wild perspective, you could actually like, you could channel like, or not, I guess channel, you could channel that angelic energy behind you. But more so than that, what I'm trying to say, I'm sorry, my brain is getting like, by channeling those parts of you that you try so hard to suppress and pretend like aren't there, those are the parts of you that are going to get you to the finish line and give you that edge above others to make you the winner. Like, you want to embrace these parts of yourself. They're not there for you to hide and diminish. They're there for you to embrace and utilize, because you were born with these qualities for a reason. You're not meant to pretend like they're not there just to seem more normal. This is a time for you to embrace all aspects of yourself, not just particular parts. And I think the reason why so many archangels came through is because they want you to understand that there's so much angelic energy that wants to help you, but you have to be open and willing and ask for it. And also, you know, maybe this is the first time that you're even aware that this angelic energy can be utilized by you. So here's your permission to call on them anytime you want. But on the back of the deck, we have a happy change. And I believe that this is coming from Archangel Urifiel. Oh my gosh, yeah. Wow, okay. Breathe. Archangel Uriel, not Orifiel. A happy change. Your angels have heard your prayers and have banded together to create real and joyful changes in your life. Events begin to move forward and great progress will now be possible. You may need to make some rapid decisions due to the suddenness of activity. Be confident and trust the guidance you receive. So this is your guide. So this is your angels essentially saying, oh my gosh, you already started calling on us. Look, now we can create happy changes. But for some of you, maybe you're already working with some or all of these archangels, and they're confirming that because you're working with them, this is helping to get you where you need to go, and that they are behind you. And I'm not saying that you have to work with these angels in order to be successful. I'm not saying that at all. But what they are saying is that they can help you make decisions that are in alignment with your highest good, and help you make the decisions that are going to be best for you, and help you move forward in a way that makes you happy and makes life better for you. That's all they want. They love you so much, and they just want you to have like the best life ever. Like, that's really all they want for you. I don't know. I just think angels are iconic, and I love them, and they love you, and they want you to know that they are here to help you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull a stone for each archangel, so that if you want to connect to them through a physical object, in this way, in this case, it would be crystals. I'm going to let them kind of open the floor to say what crystals you can connect to them through. If there's ones that come to mind that don't show up here, feel free to use those. If one or multiple of these angels come through and say, hey, you can use XYZ, listen to them. Follow your own internal guidance first. But Archangel Raphael, what stone can we use to connect with you, please? Okay. So we have tourmalated quartz. Oneness. You're part of the universe and you will always be. But I'm hearing that this can extend to rose quartz as well as smoky quartz or clear quartz. But tourmalated quartz looks like this. It's got kind of like these lines on the inside. But let's see. What about you, Jophiel? What stone can pile for use to channel you? Okay. Wow. Okay. So we got 2 for this one. The first one we got was Amazonite, and it says creativity. Use creativity to transform your pain into positivity. So these 2, honestly, I could say could work like a bridge with each other. But we also have this stone, which is rutilated quartz. So yeah, we have a lot of quartz. Confidence. No one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Be your own cheerleader. So yeah, that's also how Archangel Jophiel can kind of illuminate like maybe shadows where like a lack of self-confidence and things like that. Archangel Jophiel could help with as well. But what about you, Archangel Michael? What stone or stones can pile for use to connect with you? Okay. So, oh, we have lepidolite signs. There will always be signs to guide you on your true path. I do have lepidolite. So, where is it? Oh, here's some. This is lepidolite. It's an awesome stone. It's actually one of my favorites. It's a great stone for like sleeping as well. It's an anxiety relief and things like that. Oh yeah, here's more of it right here, right in front of my face, and I totally didn't notice it. So yeah, this is what lepidolite looks like. Awesome stone. Okay, what about Archangel Orpheal? What stone can we use for you? Okay, we have 3 coming out. So we have Topaz, the solar plexus chakra, manifestation. Manifestation is the fruition of confidence and belief. We have Rhodonite. Oh, this is Rhodonite right here. And it says love. Love is a verb, so make it your most treasured action. So I'm going to put that here because I almost feel like it extends honestly to all of these, but more specifically to Orpheal and Michael. And we also have creation. The flames of destruction will ignite a rebirth. And this is fire agate. Oh my gosh, yes, fire agate is one of my faves, and I don't have any with me right now. Fire agate is like, oh no, shoot, I was thinking of fire quartz. I guess fire agate is different, so I don't have any of it anyway. Kind of looks like it might be connected to Archangel Uriel though, so I'm gonna put that there. But what about Archangel Uriel? What stone or stones can pile for use to communicate with you, please? Okay. We have 2 coming out. We have labradorite with dreams. Your dreams are where your mind translates the divine. I have labradorite. I got this thick guy right here. I love labradorite. Really awesome stone. And howlite. So to see more clearly, close your eyes. Meditation. So I actually think this one as well. Like I almost feel like these 4 are meant to be more like connecting. Like you can connect to any of the angels through these, whereas these are maybe more specific ones. But truthfully, if you want to connect to an angel through any stone, you can. But I thought I would let the stones themselves come out if there's any that wanted to communicate. But we are going to finish off with some channeled messages, not only from these archangels, but with your guardian angels. I was going to include your guardian angels more so in the reading, but technically your archangels are guardian angels, but even though guardian angels are technically also different as well. But I guess in this case, there can be both. I just chose to only do archangels for most of the reading because so many came through. So I was like, all right, well, we'll just leave the messages from your guardian angels or your archangels or both, whatever you want to decide it's from, and we'll just see what they have to say. So what do pile 4's guardian angels want pile 4 to know? Okay, well, that's a good amount. So we have acceptance. There is nothing about you that you need to fix. Reclaim the disowned parts of you that you yearn for love and acceptance. You are beautiful just as you are, regardless of any faults you may perceive you have. You are an internally radiant being of light. Accept all that you are and just be you. When you truly accept yourself, your whole world will magically and lovingly transform. And then we also have encouragement. Your love is invaluable to the earth and those around you. Even though you may not always see the positive effect your love has on others, trust, for it does. Each time you offer love through a loving gesture, thought, or word, you plant a seed of love, and love always generates more love. Trust and continue your loving work. And then we have conflict. Feelings for which you suppressed for a very long time are yearning to be acknowledged and expressed. You are torn between what you think is the right thing to do and what your heart wants, and this is the primary cause of stress in your life. We, your angels, urge you to follow your heart. Do what you love, not what you think you should. I agree. And also about guardian angels. Okay. I guess they're correcting me. We have at least one guardian angel who lovingly oversees all the events of our lives. Guardian angels are messengers of light whose divine mission is to protect and guide humanity along its sacred journey. Their love for us is unconditional. So no matter what you do or don't do, you are always worthy of their love. And that's exactly what I was saying. That's kind of the same thing as spirit guides. Like, it's literally like, it doesn't matter like how awesome or horrible you are. Like, they literally love you unconditionally. And that's hard to understand from a human's perspective. But like, if you could imagine that and recognize that that energy is behind you and wants to help you, like, it's a pretty humbling thing. It's pretty awesome. I don't know. I just think angels are the shit. I love them. I mean, the shit in a positive way, not shit in the bad way. I just think angels are the best. But in the back of the deck energy, we have courage. Dare to be different, to make mistakes. Create, for it is in creation that you exist. In this world of dreams that stem from the eternal heart, you are one with all creation. All is possible. Go forth and be true to yourself, for it is only through being true to you that you can be true to others. So I think that is an excellent place to leave it. So pile 4, I'm going to show you guys the cards that I used in a second because I'm not going to put them in the description box, but I'll just do my little spiel first. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely let me know in the comments how it resonates. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you left a like. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribed and joined our little fam. We don't even have a name. I don't know. Maybe if you guys want to come up with one, but I can't think of anything. Just our little fam. If you're already subscribed and have notifications on, make sure notifications are still on because for some people, they have not been showing up. So be aware of that. If you want to support me in other ways, you can check out my merch or you can check out my social medias. Links for that will be down below. Simplest and easiest way to support me though is to just watch my ads. You know, you can go and take a bathroom break, get a drink, have a phone break while the ads are on, and it's literally just the simplest and easiest way to support me. So thank you for everybody who watches those. But I'll go ahead and show you guys the cards that I use now. So these little crystal ones were the chakra love cards, and then the Archangel cards that we used for a majority of the reading are the Archangel Light Codes by Leanne Colquitt. I got this on Etsy, so I don't know if it's still there, but that's where I got it if it is. The tarot cards that I used are the Guardian Angel Tarot cards by Radley Valentine. So yeah, I was going to use them to channel your guardian angels, but then I was like, nah, your archangels need it. And then finally, these little heart cards are the Guardian Angel cards, Loving Messages from the Angels by Tony Carmine Salerno. So pile 4, I'm going to leave this reading here. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely feel free to check out any other piles if you want to. But I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!